This is a weapons arsenal that drives both gods and demons mad. Any of these weapons could make them supreme rulers, yet the man can freely choose from them, because he is considered the strongest necromancer in the eyes of the world. With just his own power he can easily wipe out an entire nation's army. But now he cannot even resurrect a dead fly. This is because his unmatched strength has sparked jealousy among the other 9 stars. As a result, the members of the 9 stars united to slay him. At the moment of his impending death, he activated his soul transfer technique. 10 years later, Chichenju's soul successfully revived in another's body. He vowed to ensure the other 9 stars would die and their paths erased. When he discovered that 710 years had passed, and his body could no longer summon even a trace of magic power, Chichenju could not help but sneer. Those 9 stars, the fools, spent 10 years climbing 200 levels. This is actually a good thing for him. He has every chance to climb the tower and surpass them. Although this body is just that of a beginner, his soul is that of a necromancer, Jinhyuk. After saying that, he dressed and headed toward the unknown Tower of the Gods. After many years, Jinhyuk was once again entering the tower. The first step is to traverse the dangerous corridors full of traps. But as long as he clears the level or returns to the starting point, his wounds will heal automatically. He first checked his current attributes. All abilities have been reset to 1, but he possesses a skill with a special property, Devar. As he entered the dangerous passage, an arrow shot towards him. He easily dodged it with his agile movements. Then whoosh whoosh, countless arrows rained down on him. No matter how fast his movements were, he could not dodge them all. Then thud. Chichenju was instantly struck by multiple arrows, but he did not fall. Instead, he continued charging forward. When he could not hold on any longer, he returned to the starting point to heal his wounds. He just wanted to test the limits of this body's endurance, and the reason he became the strongest man at the top of the tower was due to his special ability Devar. This skill allows him to devour anything lifeless, including the freshly spilled blood, which now becomes his source of strength. All of his attributes were also enhanced due to the wellspring. After fully recovering, he resolutely walked towards the passage. He needed to constantly absorb fresh blood to increase his attributes. Until 1 month later, he could no longer improve himself through the whip. Quian arrived at the exit of the passage. During this time, his physical endurance and other attributes had increased greatly, but his method of clearing the trials had attracted the attention of demons and gods within the tower. Chichenju thought, here come those peeping toms again. He was extremely annoyed by these self-righteous gods and demons. Then various pop-up windows swarmed. He noticed a familiar pop-up window among them. It was Baal, that stalker. In his previous life, he had constantly clung to him, wanting to make him his subordinate. Had his identity been exposed? And the miracle of soul transfer was also a gift from Baal. It's all because of you, Baal. Now they've all noticed me. You can forget about it. I will not be anyone's lackey. Next, let's take a look at everything I've gained this month. Not only have all my skills been restored, but Hen can now harness magic. My magic power has also increased, and he unlocked a brand new talent. Versatile. This talent would allow him to quickly learn any skill. The thought of it made him feel that this skill was truly incredible. With it, he could achieve the accomplishments he never reached in his past life. The Master all. Next, he arrived at the next instance, the House of Training. In his past life, he was a necromancer who could control thousands of undead. He merely glanced at the necromancer staff that suited him, then decisively chose a dark longbow emanating black energy. The game system quickly generated a target. He immediately knocked an arrow, drew his bow, and focused on the bullseye. With a whoosh whoosh, the arrows whistled through the air towards the target. With to it, the arrows struck the bullseye. This easy. Now the system is generating more targets that can attack people. System prompt. Aggressive targets may cause harm to you. Jinhyuk smirked wickedly. It does not matter, just do it as I asked. As soon as he finished speaking, a group of robot targets appeared in front of him. In the next second, they all charged straight at him. Seeing this, I raised my hand and several arrows whistled out. 3 robot targets instantly fell to the ground, but the remaining targets seized the opportunity to pounce on him. They were about to crush his head. If a sword energy flash passed in a second, the robot targets were cut in half. This is too unchallenging. System, can you give me some tougher opponents? As soon as the words were spoken, several giant humanoid targets appeared nearby. But before they could attack, Chichenju swiftly dodged and easily took down one of them. Immediately after, he leaped into the air and switched to dual blades. With a light motion, the dual blades pierced through the remaining giant targets. Just as a distant, attacking monster behind me was about to strike, the system also prompted me. These targets are the most dangerous enemies in the second-tier tower. But at this moment, Chichenju simply smiled lightly. So it's the most dangerous guy on this floor, huh? Then I'll have to bring out my old pal to deal with it. At this time, Chichenju held the Necromancer's staff. A vast energy surged forth from the staff. Several ranged targets exploded and turned to dust. This is the power of versatility. All the weapons feel incredibly familiar as soon as I pick them up. It feels like I've been using them for years. At this moment, the system prompts. Unlocking the All-Round Master Achievement, reward 5,000 merit points. It was only then that I suddenly realized the All-Round Master Achievement is actually a profession. The system then asks if I want to choose All-Round Master as my profession. Leaving the training room will prevent me from choosing again. Chichenju was in a difficult position at this time. The Omnipotent Master class is not bad either, but I cannot abandon my advantageous Necromancer class for it. I'll choose Omnipotent Master as my secondary profession. The system coldly replied, no. Secondary professions can only be unlocked after clearing 100 floors. To this I calmly said, I'll use merit points to unlock a secondary profession. The system was left dumbfounded by my question. As a newbie, how did you know about this option? Do not worry about how I knew about this setting. Just answer me if it's possible or not. Chichenji let out a helpless sigh. Looks like I'll have to use that move. He then pointed to the malicious peak ball. This little pest not only talks to me all day long, he even took the initiative to reveal his identity. The first time communicating with a god should grant some kind of achievement. As expected, as soon as the words were spoken, the system prompted the achievement talk to the pinnacle of evil, Bao, plus 20 reputation points. Bao, seeing that he had helped me, shamelessly began acting coquettishly towards me. To this I responded, Bao, please stop disgusting me. Your Majesty. So can I now make the Almighty Master my secondary profession? I only heard a ding sound. Destroy the training hall and you can head to the first floor of the Tower of Gods. With the infusion of energy from the Necromancer's staff, I heard a loud explosion as the ground cracked open. Those weaklings at 9 stars, just wait to face the wrath of my revenge. Chichenju immediately arrived at the first level of the Shintek forest. The forest was filled with groups of goblins everywhere. As soon as he entered the forest, he found a few beginners surrounded by several goblins. Just as one of them was swinging a long tongue and charging with a knife, a loud noise suddenly echoed from the sky. Spatial crack appeared out of nowhere. Chichenju flashed out from the spatial crack. He took a single stride and stomped the long-tongued goblin flat. So it's you lot, you lousy bugs. Long time. The two goblins, feeling scorned, roared angrily, baring their teeth. Ganar. Chichenju simply grinned. You two lazy bugs, come on, attack together. I want to see how much stronger I'll get after swallowing you all. A nearby newbie exclaimed, this newbie is incredibly strong. Judging by his weapon, he seems to be just a mage. He actually knocked that long-tongued goblin out with one kick. Another newbie, who looked rather cowardly, wanted to fight alongside Qi and Sung Wu and get some benefit, but the only reply he got was a simple get lost. You dare steal my prey? Did not expect to leave alive. As soon as he finished speaking, 3 novice adventurers ran towards the exit. The goblins under Li's command frantically attacked him. Chichenju simply gave a sinister smile. He could not wait to join his companions. But as they charged towards Chichenju, it was as if they saw a demon lord from the underworld. His eyes were full of fear. He kept shouting, I'm wrong, I'm wrong. At the same time he turned and fled. It was too late for him to recognize me. Having said that, a magical sphere of energy formed in his hand. It instantly pierced through the bodies of the 2 goblins. Then the system prompted, welcome to the first floor of the Divine Tower. Kill 10 goblins to complete the quest and proceed to the next level. Seeing how simple the quest is, why not complete the massacre achievement as well? In his previous life, he almost collected all of them. Looking at the goblins before him, let's see what you can bring me. The next second, the goblins' bodies turned into a mass of blood energy, which he absorbed into his mouth. But just as he inhaled the blood energy into his throat, he was amazed to find that he could see the memories of the goblins' past life. What was even more exciting was that he could also understand the goblins' language. He immediately brought up the status bar to check his attribute changes. Damn, these stats are ridiculously high. These attributes are even comparable to those of players at the 10th floor of the tower. Could this be the extra bonus attributes from the all-round master secondary profession? Just as he was puzzled and confused, an exciting scene from the present suddenly appeared before his eyes. The Goblin King was actually being played by Daniel Wu as the Lich King. This guy was about to sacrifice captured humans to gain power. Then Chichenju grinned. Lich King? Goblin King. It turned out this guy relied entirely on summoning little goblins for a group attack. This way, he can not only quickly kill enough goblins to achieve the Goblin Slayer achievement, but also use this opportunity to harvest a large number of them to strengthen himself. If he wants to do that, he first needs to assemble an undead army. With a wave of his hand, groups of goblins instantly fall dead. At that moment, the system prompts, congratulations, you have completed the class change on your own and obtained the Necromancer class. The goblin who was killed transformed into a skeleton warrior and knelt before him. With the memories from his previous life, completing an independent job change was a piece of cake. There's also a hidden class he must acquire at the 7th floor tower. The skeleton warrior in front of him turned to look beside him. He saw several goblins who were about to attack, now paralyzed with fear, sitting on the ground. Do not waste a freebie. My Necromancer warrior, kill every goblin you can see. Moments later, I had already assembled an army of the undead. Following my memories from life, I arrived before a thatched hut. It looked like no one had been there for a long time. Then I toyed with the energy ball in my hand and muttered to myself, you two still think you can hide this from me? The next second I kicked open the floorboards beneath my feet. Sure enough, a bottomless passage was hidden beneath the floor. Chichenju walked along the secret passage, placing magic crystals at various locations. He was about to complete a little-known advanced job promotion here. Necromancer. Eventually he arrived before a stone coffin emitting dark energy. Inside it lay the first-generation Necromancer and the job promotion officer. Just as he used all his strength to open the coffin, A skeleton radiating a terrifying aura floated out of the coffin. Jinhyuk calmly said, "The first-generation necromancer Carl." Carl looked at Jinhyuk. "Could you be my descendant?" Jinhyuk gave a wick smile. "Long time no see, my old friend." Hearing himself being called old friend, Carl froze in the spot. He awkwardly responded, "Few people are not scared when they see me. Young man, you're making me feel really awkward. Do you really think that the Lich King would be scared of you, a mere skeleton? I came here after reading your journal. In my previous life, I also accidentally found the hidden item, the Lich Master Carl's journal, and I tried to make Carl submit to me. But I failed in the end. So in this life, when I face him again, the desire to conquer him naturally arose." Then Carl nodded and said, "Young man, I admire your courage. You're far stronger than that rude little brat from 10 years ago." Upon hearing this, Jinhyuk could not help but shiver. "Carl, that damn skull. I really want to smash him to pieces with one punch." But in order to change his class, he could only forcefully suppress his anger and say, "Mr. Carl, can you help me complete the class change quickly? Necromancer's an advanced class. You need to go to the 10th floor for a second class change." But before he could finish speaking, Jinhyuk handed over his class change information for Carl to review. Upon seeing this, Carl's dark eye socket suddenly flashed with a blinding white light. He had not gone to the 10th floor but still completed the class change on his own. This is truly genius. He's even more twisted than that previous brat. "So Mr. Carl, can you transfer me to job 7 now?" Carl responded that of course he could. As he spoke, Carl continuously muttered incantations. He raised his hands and looked into the sky. It was as if he were communicating with an unknown being. During this time, Carl's life flashed before my eyes. When the God Tower first appeared on Earth, Carl was already a top figure in the entire tower. Although he was already the strongest necromancer at the time, he did not bother to find ways to become stronger himself. Instead, he was obsessed with making his summoned creatures stronger. He did not want leeches or death knights, but a completely new kind of summoned creature, the souls of the dead. With necromancy, he should be able to summon a completely new species that surpasses all other summoned creatures. Through his tireless research, he finally created the Necromancer King, a completely new profession. However, his aging and frail body has reached its limit. The Necromancer King profession will also become extinct with him. To maintain the legacy of the Necromancer King profession, he decisively made his final choice. He even cast upon himself the long-lost spirit summoning technique, making himself into something akin to Nepis, waiting here for a descendant who can restore his former glory to appear. A moment later, the transformation ceremony finally ended. "You're not bad, you little rascal. From now on, you are the 3rd-generation Necromancer. The soul furnace is used to capture souls, and it can also be used to summon a summoned beast with a soul. Congratulations, kid. I hope you reach new heights, and let the world witness the greatness of our Necromancer King's lineage." In response, Jinhyuk only grinned. "Thank you, senior. I will use the soul furnace you gave me. The first one to be arrested is you, Carl. As for your wish to make the Necromancer King's lineage great, you should strive to achieve it yourself." Hearing this, Carl was momentarily stunned. "What do you mean by that?" Then he shouted loudly, "Have you forgotten the agreement in the diary? Do you intend to break your promise?" Jinhyuk simply walked step by step towards Carl. "Senior, I think you might have misunderstood. You are placing your wishes on others. This bad habit of yours, I'll help you change it today." Jinhyuk instantly opened the soul furnace. He shouted, "Soul collection." In that moment, Carl's soul was pulled out piece by piece by the furnace. At this moment, Carl was unwilling to be at anyone's mercy. How could I, the great Carl, be captured and thrown into the soul furnace? With that, he immediately discarded his magical cloak. He severed the link to prevent his soul from being stripped away. With just his skeletal frame, Carl raised his middle finger and said, "You think you can trap me? You're still too inexperienced. Goodbye, kid." Having said that, he tried to turn and flee, but at this moment, Jinhyuk remained calm and composed. Just as he tried to turn and escape, he suddenly crashed into an invisible wall. It was the magical trap Jinhyuk had set up along the way. At this point, Carl was puzzled as to why a novice would set such a trap. At that moment, Jinhyuk walked over. He slowly said, "This magical prison was prepared specifically for you. The consequences of your actions will be severe. Believe it or not, I could smash this cage with one punch." But what he did not know was that the entire path was paved with crystal stones. Jinhyuk said that although this prison was easy to break, what awaited him afterward were tens of thousands of magical prisons. Only then did Carl realize how incredibly terrifying this man was, who had only reached the first level. Quine angrily asked, "Who you exactly?" Jinhyuk slowly lifted his hat. "I failed in my last life, but this time I'll finally get you, Carl." Carl hears the words last life. Could it be that impolite brat who came back from reincarnation? It must be the reincarnated necromancer, or perhaps it's better to say the 3rd generation. Kian Sung-woo. At this moment, Zia realized how terrifying the man in front of him was. At this point, Jinhyuk had already begun to use soul collection on Carl, who had nowhere to escape. Carl's soul could be seen being drained by Jinhyuk at a visible speed. Carl had turned into a lifeless skeleton. Carl, do not be too angry. Stay by my side and you will get everything you want. And Carl, who had just had his soul absorbed by Jinhyuk, regained his human form, but this made him extremely angry. "To dare treat me like a mere undead minion." Jinhyuk grinned again. "Looks like you were quite handsome in your youth." Facing his mock, Carl suddenly unleashed a tremendous surge of necromantic power. You brat, you dare underestimate me, the first-generation Necromancer? But before he could finish, Carl was dumbfounded. It turned out that his energy was all supplied by Jinhyuk. Once the supply stopped, he would immediately dissipate. Even though Carl was 1000% unwilling, he could only obediently listen now. And Carl, do not forget I have another skill. Remember how you dealt with those disobedient summoned beasts? If you continue to seek your own boredom, do not blame me for not warning you beforehand. Carl broke out in a cold sweat after hearing this. In other words, if I do not completely obey now, he will devour me. A helpless Carl finally submitted. So what do you want me to do for you? Jinhyuk pointed to a castle in the distance and said, we are going to the designated place. The goblins. As soon as they entered the castle, Jinhyuk summoned a large number of Necromancer warriors to clear the way for their Necromancer king. As more and more little goblins joined the battle, in order to see the Goblin King as soon as possible, Quan personally joined the fight. Quan immediately ordered to go outside and see what's happening. No one is to be allowed in to disrupt the memorial ceremony. Quickly prepare the memorial offerings for me. Meanwhile, under Jinhyuk's lead, the Undead Legion quickly reached the outside of the memorial hall. Suddenly Jinhyuk's eyes lit up. Such a familiar It seems that the Goblin King is inside the Grand Hall ahead. Quan slowly walked in with the Necromancer's army. Just then, the Goblin King inserted a dagger into the body of a sacrificial priest. Not enough. It's still not enough to satisfy His Highness. At that moment, two little goblins brought a female sacrifice. She was from the Ghost tribe. This is a sacrifice of a higher order than humans. Quan grabbed the woman's arm. It seems this will satisfy His Highness's needs. Just as he was feeling excited, a flying sword forced him to release the girl's hand. The Goblin King looked up. It's you invaded here and interrupted the sacrifice. Are you performing a human sacrifice or summoning a sacrificial offering? I advise you to mind your own business. I've decided to get involved, and I will devour you. Youngster, you're talking big. Bring it on. A mere First Order Lord dares to be so arrogant. If you were to kowtow to me a few times right now, perhaps I might spare you. Just as the two were locked in a battle of wits, the monstrous beauty beside them seized the moment and stood up, ready to escape. But the Goblin King was not ready to let her go so easily. He let out a loud roar. Lord of Demons, grant me your power. Seeing the attack about to strike the monstrous woman, Jinhyuk swiftly stepped in and blocked the attack with his body. He turned to the monstrous woman and said, get out of here as quickly as you can. But he suddenly noticed that the woman had two horns on her head. She was actually from the demon race. Legend says that such a powerful race only exists on the 100th floor of the Divine Tower. How could they let a little girl come to the lower floors? Did something happen on the 100th floor? Just as he was puzzled and confused, the Goblin King next to him angrily said, how dare you interfere with the ritual I've prepared for His Highness? After speaking, he suddenly triggered the goblin guards beside him. In an instant, the violent energy from the explosion spread out, but for Jinhyuk, this amount of energy was nothing, not even enough to itch him. With a single punch, he charged towards the Goblin King. At this moment, the Goblin King was stunned. How could such a powerful person appear in a mere tower? Just as Jinhyuk was about to land the final blow on him. At this moment, the Goblin King suddenly let out an angry roar. Demon of Death, please come and redeem me. Soon the blood in his body began to boil. A giant blood-red hand grabbed hold of Jinhyuk's body. He focused his gaze. How could this guy summon such a high-level demon? Before Jinhyuk could react, that giant hand slammed him to the ground. Seeing this, the Goblin King immediately became smug. How about that human? Did you see it? This is my strongest summoning spell. You dared to mention summoning spells in front of me? You're re-asking for trouble, like bringing a big knife in front of Guangong. Then let me show you. What is the true art of summoning spirits? Countless souls of the dead entered the blood demon puppet's body. They began to wriggle continuously inside the blood demon puppet. Moments later, a sound was heard. The blood demon puppet's body instantly turned to nothingness. At this moment, the Goblin King, scratching his head, could not understand. How could such a powerful blood demon puppet be so easily dealt with by this mere child? At this time, Jinhyuk also had a puzzled expression. The blood demon puppet is not something he, a mere goblin, can summon. It must have been you, the demon who controls death. At this moment, Boone frantically nodded and glared at someone. I just changed my class to Necromancer, and you're already curious about my power. Then you found out that I was fighting your followers, so you decided to help summon the blood demon puppet, and you Goblin King are nothing more than a pawn. Impossible. If you kill me, the Hall Master will avenge me. Then be sure to tell him to come find me. That way I would not have to hunt him down. Before dying, Boone's loyal follower continued praying to the demon. This is also the consequence of the death demon testing Zhang He. Then Jinhyuk coldly said, the farce ends here. How dare you attempt to challenge me? If something happens later, do not blame me. Although there were some unpleasant incidents in between, Jinhyuk still easily dealt with the Goblin King. He then squeezed its soul into a soul ball. He immediately devoured it. This is also the way he grows stronger. The moment devouring, he was surprised to find that this guy's soul was such trash, plus attributes like quick intelligence only added a little bit. Just as he was annoyed by this, the ghostly woman he saved gently walked over. Hello? My name is... Thank you for saving me. Just now he saved the demoness Yusu. Yusu came to repay Jinhyuk's life-saving grace. Seeing this, Jinhyuk asked, "Are not you afraid I might be a bad person?" Yusu replied with a smile, "Anyone who dares to offend people like me will be executed." Jinhyuk let out a soft sigh. As expected, the demon clan really holds grudges. The next second, he suddenly asked Yusu, "Are not you supposed to be on the 100th floor? How did you get here?" Yusu said it's because someone suddenly attacked the ghost village. Chenyu was also particularly puzzled. The ghost tribe is a particularly powerful race in the divine realm. After thinking it over, only the 4 great royal families would dare to do this. The powerful warrior, the giant clan, they possess powerful bodies and unmatched strength. The magical essence, the dragon clan, they possess unique magical talents. Demonic energy dominates the demon race. They control the world's dark magic. The heavenly condemnation wing, the celestial race. Legend says they are angels banished to the mortal realm by the gods. Besides these 4 royal families, there's another special force. That is, those who have eliminated their own 9 stars. Just thinking about those 9-star bastards. At this moment, Yusu, who was standing nearby, had already seen his abilities, so she expressed her wish to follow him for protection. Jinhyuk thought for a moment. Although Yusu was still young, she was after all from the demon clan. Perhaps she could grow into a formidable force in the future. Jinhyuk silently nodded. Yusu in the scene was as happy as the Goblin King's excited little helper. Then he stripped off the equipment. At this point, Carl came over to report. All the goblins in the city have been turned into undead by him. Yusu, standing nearby, hid behind Jinhyuk. This person is so terrifying. Seeing this, Carl looked at Yusu and pointed to himself. "Kid, you can see me." Of course. Jinhyuk explained from the side. Yusu is from the monster tribe and has interacted with them since childhood. The person who defeats the Goblin King can trigger a monster swarm attack opportunity. Jinhyuk's mouth immediately widened into a grin. "What I want is finally here." But Carl and Yusu both thought this was too risky. However, Jinhyuk said lightly, "The reason I came to wipe out the Goblin King is precisely because of this." The gods and demons around him also thought that Jinhyuk was reckless. The demon who governs death said, "If Jinhyuk's contribution reaches first place, he will reward him." Jinhyuk just smiled faintly. "Do not think you can fool me with such small rewards. Whether I accept it or not depends on the extent of the reward." Ball sneered from the side. "He sure has a lot of guts. Anyway, if you die, I can regain my freedom. Carl, please remember this. While I'm alive, I am your master. When I die, you will still be my slave." After saying this, he directly pressed the confirmation button. This way, all the special forces on level 1 will be without safety mode. Who the hell made this reckless choice? Whether the mission is completed or not, everyone rushed towards the 2nd floor safe zone. But before they reached the entrance to the 2nd floor, a huge portal appeared before them. Countless goblins emerged from it, attacking them. They were so frightened by the sheer number of goblins that their mouths dropped open. The numerous goblins frightened them, their mouths agape. Damn it. Suddenly, a giant column of white light separated everyone from the goblins. The newcomer was Jinhyuk. He looked down at everyone and grinned. "This is my hunting ground. Anyone who dares touch my prey will only face one outcome. That is death." Everyone was astonished. Was he going to face this goblin army alone? Jinhyuk calmly activated his necromancy summoning skill. In an instant, countless undead soldiers flew out from his body, filling the sky. A death lord appearing on the 1st floor? How is that possible? Meanwhile, Yusu beside him wanted to help him kill the goblins. "Then you better hurry up. Otherwise, that undead legion will clean up even the scraps before you can." Hearing this, Yusu hesitated no longer. He summoned a red weapon with spikes on both sides from the void. As the weapon rotated and elongated, a long sword radiating spiritual energy appeared in Yusu's hand. Jinhyuk froze for a moment. Dimensional space. This sword is definitely no ordinary weapon. She wields the weapon with ease and familiarity. Could Yusu be the target of the attack on the ghost village? At this moment, an untimely voice interrupted his thoughts. One glance at his arrogant demeanor revealed he was a young master from some prestigious family. Jinhyuk only asked, "Do you need something?" "My name is Jinhyuk. I'm from the White Light Devouring Guild." Jinhyuk had never heard of the White Light Devouring Guild before. It was a branch guild under the 9-star Pei Lun siblings' Holy Kingdom Guild. As soon as he heard the words 9 stars Pei Lun, this guy kept blabbering, saying that he thought my skills were good, and recommending that I join the Sacred Kingdom Guild. "You came at the right time. I was just about to go find Pei Lun and the others to settle some scores. Once I'm done dealing with this batch of goblins, we can talk properly." At this moment, one of the lackeys thought that Jinhyuk was too overbearing. Just because he was strong, did he think he could bully people at will? Jinhyuk said indifferently, "He's still alive because he's still useful. In this brutal tower where the strong prey on the weak, killing, robbing, or murder are all beyond the law, only the strong survive. If you do not want to die, get out of here." He turned and left. Both sides were fighting fiercely at this moment. Seeing this, Jinhyuk and Carl joined the battle. Those dead goblin warriors, under Jinhyuk and Carl's skillful maneuvers. Then he ordered Carl to turn all those corpses into undead soldiers. "Let's have some fun together then." Yusu on the other side was also fiercely battling the goblin army, but the number of goblins is simply too many. She's starting to feel overwhelmed. This is too much, is not it? Just as she got distracted, a goblin ambushed her from behind. The sudden ambush caught Yusu off guard. She screamed in pain instantly. At that moment, she remembered the village slaughtered by the mysterious forces. This little pain is nothing compared to that, but at this moment, Wusu's physical strength had clearly reached its limit. Suddenly with a thud, he collapsed to his knees. Meanwhile, behind him, Jinhyuk was still fighting against the goblin army. A mere ordinary person from the first layer could unleash such powerful strength. This is also why he was willing to follow Jinhyuk. No matter what, he had to strive to climb to the top of the tower to avenge the ghost tribe. Another goblin with a hooked nose lunged at Yusu. It looked like it was about to smash her head. Suddenly a bolt of lightning struck, shattering the goblin. It was the handsome and valiant Uncle Carl who saved her. "Are you alright, little girl?" "I'm fine." Saying this, she braced herself and tried to get up to fight. Seeing this, Carl thought, this girl is really persistent. What has she been through? Then suddenly Guangsu asked, "Why did you save me? No one has helped me from the 100th floor until now. Could it be that you re-helping me for some other purpose?" Yusu has always believed that those who help her must want something in return. "There's no reason. I'm just following Jinhyuk's orders to ensure you do not die." Jinhyuk's concern made Yusu feel truly grateful. He swore that he would repay this kindness to the best of his ability. After saying that, Yusu's chest began to glow. The next second, he took out a ghostly mask emitting a faint glow from his chest and put it on his face. Yusu's power increased exponentially. Jinhyuk, who was fighting, suddenly felt the terrifying force of this power. At this moment, Yusu seemed like a different person. In an instant, he flashed behind the goblin. Goblins fell in droves with a single gesture. Like a beast thirsting for battle, he charged into the goblin horde. Jinhyuk, watching from the side, took it all in. It further confirmed his suspicions. That mysterious force attacked Yusu's village to capture her. What secret does she hold? Best not to tell him for now. Soon the battle will be over. Only 1 minute left. The portal is slowly shrinking. With the death of the last goblin, the portal completely closes. The beast tide is over. Then a system prompt appears. "Congratulations, you have successfully repelled the monster's attack." Yusu's now completely exhausted. She was about to fall. A strong, powerful hand with 9 fingers steadied her. "Okay, you should not have used that skill in that situation. I can handle it." A simple concern made Yusu blush and feel quite embarrassed. She quickly turned her head and hurriedly opened the system's progress bar. The top 3 rankings and contribution will receive rewards. Jinhyuk let out an evil smile at this moment. Good. It's time to settle the score. After the goblin army's group attack ended, a total of more than 2,500 were killed. All attributes. Merit points 5,000. Although the various attributes, but the achievement rewards will be very helpful in the future. Jing. This value has been limited. This point is still anticipated. The 3 of them also received the corresponding monster-killing rewards. Carl, being a necromancer, expressed that he could not use it and voluntarily offered it instead. Upon seeing this, Yusu could only hand the reward over. "I hope you understand me. I've already been betrayed once, so I must take it back." Then Jinhyuk looked at Yusu and said, "If you want me to fully trust you, then do something that will convince me. Otherwise, I will not be able to keep bringing you along." After saying that, Yusu's expression immediately became serious. One internal He directly took out the ghost mask from his internal space. "How could this be?" Carl exclaimed in shock. "You're willing to give the clan's demon mask to an outsider? How could this be? And also the essence of power?" A confused Jinhyuk asked, "Why give him the mask? This way you will believe I would not betray you, and it's also to repay you for saving my life. This mask is truly invaluable. I wonder if you have other intentions." At this moment, Yusu slowly spoke. I may not have explained this to you clearly before. Actually, my village has been completely destroyed. I had planned to find survivors, but I could not find a single one. That is to say, I might be the last of the Guishan clan in this world. So I bet. Take me with you. Qin Sung-woo pondered for a moment. This girl seems to be just like me. A fellow? Oh, right. This Guishan belongs to the Guishan clan. I do not need. Yeah, Jinhyuk. At this moment, Yusu smiled like, "Thank you, Nick." Seeing Yusu call him brother, he immediately had an expression full of affection. "Call me however you want." After saying that, he tossed the 3 school reward crystal into the air. Second crystal shattered. Magic ring. Magic 5. Magic consumption reduced by 10%. Magic. Mana consumption reduced. Magic necklace. Magic 5. The magic consumption has decreased by percentage. Not bad. These rewards are perfect for a necromancer. Then I put on each piece of jewelry. These will improve both the quality and quantity of the summoned creatures. How long are you planning to stay silent? Boon. It seems you've forgotten the reward you mentioned earlier. Seeing this, Boon suggested moving to another place to talk. This should be fine, right? Do not even think about escaping. The demon who controls death, Boon, said not to keep rushing him. The next moment, a mighty surge of demonic energy shot into the sky. Then a skull ring emitting demonic energy appeared on the table. It seems that the 3 golds for the wedding are all prepared in one go today. Let me take a good look. Carl and Yusu, who were nearby, also asked in confusion. Brother, is something wrong? This ring? This ring actually contains demonic energy. Demonic energy is the exclusive property of the demon tribe, one of the 4 great royal families. This is the violent power of high-level magical resources. Generally, one can only obtain demonic energy by becoming a slave to the demon race. Even a small difference of 1 point can be very noticeable. This ring instantly boosts my demonic energy by 10 points. This boost is incredibly significant. He waved his hand as signaling for a handshake and reconciliation. Chichenju readily agreed, saying that since I was given such a good item, I would not dwell on the troublesome things that happened earlier. At this moment, the evil being at the peak, Bear, trembled violently. With the help of Shibu, he completely abandoned me for Win. With Win, he completely abandoned me for Bear. Chichengxi asked, do you want to be left out? Carl was also fanning the flames nearby. How dare you blackmail a demon? Bao, looking confused and lost, began searching through his wardrobe. His closet. Under bed? Stop messing around, Bao. If you want to follow me, show me your sincerity. Bao thought for a moment and then made his decision. He immediately said he would assign a task to Chichenju. Chichenju looked stunned. Assign a... Bao, are you serious? Then Bao firmly said that he was indeed going to assign a task. Kaji said that the task given by the demon is definitely extraordinary. You brat, you must seize this opportunity. Alright, Bao. Since you're so sincere, I'll make an exception and agree this time. But the shameless Chichenju said that he would choose the secret manual himself, because if he fails, he would have to undergo the apostle trial for Baal. Baal agreed. Then he shook hands with Chianayu with a cheerful smile. Asu asked, so what's our plan? Of course, it's to have Carl catch that guy named Sungtae. Kyle has already sent undead soldiers to follow him. Currently, he's still on the first floor. Okay. Then I'll go first. Yusu, then let's take a walk first. By the way, tell me about the mask of your demon clan, Wusu said while walking. Actually, it's nothing special. To put it simply, it's a tool to awaken the demon abilities of its master. Demon abilities refer to spells and divine powers. They could also use their spiritual power to foresee the future. This ability is called precognition. It might be better to choose a combat-related ability. In the foreign tribes would give the good things to the elders in their clans. To help them predict the future, they were deeply anxious about the future. They hoped to rewrite their fate through this method. Chichenju chuckled. Those are just superstitions. Is not changing things with your own strength more direct? Yusu turned around, eyes closed, and said, That's wonderful. It seems my ability is quite suitable for you, brother. Chichenju asked questioningly, why? Because my ability is battle prediction. It's only a prediction for the combatants. What do you think, brother? Do you think I'm useful now? As soon as he finished speaking, Ching Chenju stepped forward and gave Yusu a big hug. For a moment, Yusu was stunned. Ching Chenju exclaimed that this ability was simply perfect. Instantly, Yusu's face flushed red. Whether it's a swordsman, a hunter, an assassin, or a lancer, even when facing the current powerhouse, the 9 stars, they still have the strength to fight. After saying that, he tightened Yusu Tower even more. Really, thank you. On the side, Ball and the 9-tailed fox were also busy enjoying the drama. Ball, you pervert. Get away from me right now. Chichenju rubbed the back of his head. I'm really sorry. I just lost my composure for a moment. Yusu said it's fine. I'm happy to help you. I will definitely repay you well. I will also make sure to avenge you. Thank you so much, brother. Then I'll leave it to you. The scene. We see Carl grabbing Shengtai's cheek. Stop stabbing. Your comrades have already abandoned you. Come with me to see the master. That guy has no idea how difficult it is for a soul to capture a living person. Why are not they here yet? Just as the words were spoken, the two appeared behind Carl. Well done, Carl muttered angrily. Why are you only here now? I'm about to drop dead from exhaustion. This guy's been trying to escape. Then Qian Sengwu slowly drew his long sword. Carl, let him go first. Having said that, he plunged the sword deep into the tree. This is your sword. Take it. But you need to choose how you'll take it. In your hand or plunged into your body. Depends on how you answer my question. Tell me everything you know about the white light devouring incident, and leave nothing out. Xingtai, his face filled with terror, recounted everything. Watching the wolf leave Xingtai, Carl asked doubtfully, you just let him go like that. It does not matter. Anyway, I'll destroy every single guild under the Holy Kingdom one by one. I will systematically crush the foundation of the guilds that Pelin and his sister rely on for survival. But first I need to complete the apostles' mission given by Baal. The 3 of them were about to enter the 2nd floor of the Tower of God. As soon as the 3 of them arrived, the crowd immediately gasped in surprise. What is that? The legendary ghost mask. An academy student from Yanda University cautiously asked, What's your name? Are you with Guild 7? Chichenju did not want to reveal his real name. My name is Gimme. Having said that, the 3 of them entered the 2nd floor of the God's Tower through the portal. Killing 10 goblins and 10 goblin warriors each will allow entry to the 3rd floor. This task too easy. It's completely without challenge. Then I'll leave this task to you to complete. Brassback? Could it be that you consider me your free labor? Remember to catch it alive? I want to use the demonic energy for an experiment. If you want to watch, hurry up and come back quickly. Carl said helplessly. You're really too cunning. But do not use up all the demonic energy. You must wait for me to return. Xiangwu looked at the demonic energy ring on his hand. I hope you can bring me an unexpected surprise. Then he hummed softly. 4 great royal families. Please grant me the power of the demon race. A massive dark purple demonic energy floated out from the ring. Just then, a goblin with drool dripping from its mouth peeked out from the bushes. It turned out that this goblin was attracted by Yusu's beauty. Chichenju grinned widely. You arrived just in time. I was just worried I could not find you. As he spoke, the dark energy surged out. The dark energy seeped out, but this lecherous goblin actually managed to dodge the dark energy's attack. Brother, this is bad. This guy dodged it. This attack does not need to hit the target. As soon as he finished speaking, the goblin turned ashes. It's because low-level monsters cannot withstand the violent power of demonic energy. Next is the key point. If you infuse demonic energy into the undead, you will create stronger undead soldiers. But the moment he fused demonic energy with undead energy, a sharp pain that pierced to the bone made Chichenju unable to bear it. It looks like the demon energy is too high. Quite immediately reduced the demon energy from 10 points to 1 point, while he was busy adjusting with a series of intricate movements. Death Knight, who only possessed demon energy, was born. Other races outside of the demon tribe have probably never used the purest form of demon energy. Therefore, no one knows that demon energy is actually a force that is easy to control. At this moment, Carl, who had completed the task, walked over. It's really amazing. The fusion is perfect. A Death Knight with demonic energy. Let's call it Demonic Spirit Knight. Chichenju said this name sounds good. No wonder you're Carl's disciple. This craftship is truly amazing. Chichenju helplessly asked next. Will I have to inject demonic energy every time after this? That would be too troublesome. Perhaps I do not need to summon the undead myself. Chichenju, standing beside him, also admitted that he was still somewhat lacking in summoning undead. It seems you finally learned to respect your master. Then let your master show you true undead summoning. The next second, Carl roared towards the sky. Countless death auras erupted from his body. Stop it. You'll dissipate your soul if you continue like this. But Carl shouted. Boy, do not just stand there. Quickly inject your demonic energy into your master's body. If successful, I can successfully summon the Demon Spirit Warrior 7, so that's it. Then if that's the case, I will obey. Master, hang in there. With that, he injected the 10 o'clock demonic energy directly into Carl's body. The next moment, a pillar of demonic energy erupted from the spot where Carl stood, shooting straight into the sky. Yusu, standing nearby, was shocked. Old man Carl, he will not be in danger, will he? Do not worry, this old man is tough. Carl said, wait until I'm fully merged, then watch me tear you to shreds. I'd be thrilled if your power could actually threaten me. I'd be delighted. Meanwhile, Carl's merging with the dark energy has reached its final stage. He's become a rapidly spinning vortex of raging energy. As if it were the end of the world, the next second the energy dissipated. Carl, enveloped in necromantic energy several times more terrifying than before, slowly emerged. Seeing this, Chichenju simply smiled faintly. My strongest necromancer. It's you, Carl. But who knew Carl would slowly say at this moment, you've made a grave mistake this time. My goodness, creating a necromancer more powerful than yourself. This is the greatest mistake you've made as the necromancer king. Meanwhile, Chichenju gently put on the ghost mask. That's fine. I just happen to want to find a strong opponent to test this ghost mask on. At the same time, let me show you what a true Lich King is. Under the man's random and reckless actions with a flirtatious look, he somehow creates a powerful demonic sorcerer several times stronger than himself. Who would have thought that this naturally rebellious demonic sorcerer would want to softly kill the man and take his place? But in the eyes of the man wearing a ghost mask, the summoned demonic warriors move as slowly as snails. With just one punch, he crushes these demonic warriors into dust. In the rebellious one's utterly incredulous gaze, punch slammed the rebellious brat flying. This demon warlock was created by my own hands. You should obediently submit to me. Otherwise, I'll make sure your soul is shattered. At this moment, Yusu ran toward Carl, who had been knocked to the ground by the Carchenju. Old man, are you alright? Denari? This old body of Carl's will not be harmed by my punch. You're good at pretending to be a big shot. Of course, an ordinary person's punch is no big deal. But my face still feels hot from the beating you gave me. At this point, Wusu tentatively asked, Brother, was it the power of the mask you just used? When I put on the mask, I noticed everything around me slowed down. From what you're saying, it seems like it's a side effect of not properly using the mask power. What did you say? The side effects of improper use? If that's a side effect, then how powerful would it be if used correctly? Yusu slowly explained. The enemy's movement slowing down is the most basic effect. Next, you should be able to predict their movements. An excited Chichenju immediately grabbed Yes's arm. Quickly tell me, big brother, how to reach that state. Yusu said she could not explain it either. It's as if that ability can be used naturally from birth. Chichenju chuckled. I forgot Yusu is a natural of the ghost tribe. For her, it's as natural as breathing. Then Yusu curiously asked, Big brother, have you felt dizzy? Chichenju replied, What's wrong? That's strange. Any ghost or monster that has not fully cultivated will feel dizzy and nauseous. You're a human, yet you do not feel anything at all, Chichenju awkwardly explained. That's because I have not used my precognition ability at all. That's why? Then Chichenju gently stroked Yusu's forehead. This time, thankfully you were here. If it were not for you, I do not know how inflated that Carl fellow would have become. From a necromancer to a spirit mage, his abilities increased tenfold. How come I'm still suppressed by this kid? Yusu looked at the pitiful Carl with heart touch. Do not. At this moment, Carl was like a 3-year-old child who had found his mother. He hugged Yusu, crying uncontrollably with snot and tears. You actually came to comfort me? And then look at that little brat? Woo-woo. Yusu pointed at the goblin beside them. Old man. It seems the number of goblins you captured is not quite enough. Carl, what are you still standing there for? Are you waiting for me to catch it myself? Carl said with a gloomy face. How could a grand demon mage like me end up in such a state? In a fit of rage, Carl vented all his anger on the careless goblin. The three of them effortlessly made it to the 5th floor of the Tower of Gods. A green goblin was seen hanging upside down on a tree. The next second, it unexpectedly shot a poison spike from its venomous tube. But this scene had already been noticed by Yusu. In an instant, it was cut in half with a sword. Yusu said with a wicked grin on his face, You dare ambush my dear brother. The goblin was so shocked by this scene that cold sweat streamed down its face. Before it could react, Carl blasted it into pieces. At this moment, Carl noticed that Yusu beside him seemed off. He suddenly flashed a sinister smile, sending chills down the spine. Carl immediately reached out and asked, Are you right? It was only then that Yusu snapped back to reality. What's going on? How could I be laughing while holding a sword? Just as Carl was about to continue questioning, Chichenju suddenly stood up. Tonight, I will once again trigger a massive beast horde attack. Time returns to the day before entering the 5th floor. The three discussed their future plans around the campfire. Chichenju suddenly stated that he already knew how to trigger a massive beast horde attack. Carl and Yusu asked in disbelief. Artificially triggering a swarm attack? In my past life, between floors 300 and 400, the earth split open, revealing a mysterious cave. I accidentally discovered this method. Each floor of the tower hides a central area that triggers swarm attacks. As long as you continuously attack that central area with magic, it will trigger a swarm attack. Carl said, You've gotten quite a few benefits using this method, have not you? But she and Sungwoo immediately denied it. Monsters above the 300th floor are not as easy to deal with as goblins. Even the 4 great royal families, a single person cannot face the swarm attack of a horde. But this time is different. We're only on the 4th floor now. We can quickly increase our strength by facing the swarm attack of the horde. At the same time, everyone on the 4th floor felt the ground shaking from the red dragon's tremors. What the hell? A beast-tide assault? Could it be that the guy who triggered the beast tide on the 1st floor is at it again? They saw a massive swarm of goblins charging toward them. How could a beast tide assault happen in the village? But the goblins on the 4th floor are no pushovers. Everyone picked up their poison blowpipes and shot poison darts at the fleeing crowd. These poison darts have a paralyzing effect. I cannot. We're done. Just as everything seemed hopeless, the mastermind behind the beast wave attack, Chichenju, stepped forward. With a single motion, he blasted a group of goblins into nothingness. The rescued student asked. Chichenju responded coldly. Stop wasting time. Hurry up and move the injured to a safe place. When Chichenju looked up, the trainee finally realized that this person was the one they had encountered before on the 3rd floor, the one with the ghostly face. Seeing this, everyone immediately exclaimed, He's the one who defeated the beast wave's mass attack. Now we're finally saved. At this moment, Chichenju slowly took off his mask. Remember my handsome face well. And after you go out, make sure to spread my great name. With that, he waved his hand. Let the battle begin. My demon spirit warriors. The bodies on the ground instantly transformed into his demon spirit warriors. They charged towards the goblin army with claws bared and teeth gnashing. Carl beside him was unhappy again. Drew 10. They're clearly the spirit warriors I summoned. Cut the crap. Hurry up and summon more spirit warriors. But what neither of the other two expected was, the next second the goblin spirit warriors burst into flames. Dozens of demonic soul warriors were instantly burned to cinders. It was the goblin witchers. They can inflict damage on the demonic soul warriors. Carl said that the priority now was to take down these witchers first. Otherwise, the demonic soul warriors would not be able to unleash their full potential. Just as the two were discussing countermeasures, several dragons had arrived above the goblin witchers without them noticing. One of them jumped down directly in a second. With a swoosh, the goblin wizards fell dead one by one. Chichenju no longer hesitated. The flame that can affect the soul. The goblins are not worthy of such power. With that, he opened his mouth wide. He immediately activated his devouring skill. The goblin wizard's magical power was continuously absorbed into Chichenju's body. He then shouted angrily, Soul flame. Hundreds of goblins were instantly enveloped by flames. Well, Dong-su, keep dealing with the goblins like you did just now. But Yusu suddenly turned around and gave a wicked smile. Seeing this, Chichenju asked with concern, Yusu, are you okay? But Yusu did not respond. There was a flash of sword light, followed by a series of whooshing sounds. In an instant, it turned into a blood-red tornado rushing towards the goblin beast horde. At this moment, Chichenju realized Yusu's sword was glowing. This was definitely not an ordinary sword, but he could not figure out what exactly was going on for the time being. At this moment, Yusu was surrounded by an eerie red light. His eyes were filled with strangeness. The sword was continuously emitting a strong bloodlust. It was completely different from the Yusu of before. Seeing that Yusu was acting strange, Chichenju shouted out. But Yusu still remained silent. He only turned around and flashed a grin at Chichenju. As soon as the words were out, Yusu's sword slashed horizontally toward Chichenju's chest. Seeing this, Chichenju quickly dodged. Then there was a loud cracking sound. The building behind him was cut in half by Yusu's sword. The next second, it collapsed with a thunderous roar. Dust and debris flew everywhere. Even Chichenju's Necromancer staff was severed by the sharp sword energy. Chichenju, how could this sword be so powerful? Just use this rampage even he cannot handle it. Wielding a bloody blade, he assumes a fighting stance. He brings it down in a slash towards Qian Sungwu's head. Seeing the danger, Qian Sungwu immediately dodges the attack. Taking the opportunity, he rips off his mask and roars, "Yusu, I'm Qian Sungwu. Did not you recognize?" But Yasu responded with his icy blade. In this emergency, he could only raise his wand to block the blade's attack, but the pressure from the blade far exceeded his expectations. This damn thing is unstoppable. Seeing this, Carl shouted to Qian Ayu, who was surrounded by smoke, "Are you right? Yusu, what are you doing?" Chichenju sensed Carl's arrival. He coughed heavily. "I'm fine, not dying yet. It's just that this little girl, Yusu, suddenly became incredibly powerful. I could not fight back at all." As soon as he finished speaking, Yusu walked out from the dissipating smoke. She smiled at Chichenju. He exuded an eerie ghostly aura. Then Chichenju pulled out a giant sword. "Carl, go deal with those goblins. I'm going to take care of this girl, Yusu. I do not care if you're Yusu or some other creature. The choice is either die or submit." Having said that, he charged towards Yusu. At the same time, he activated the Ghost Mask skill. Battle prediction? Based on the battle experience from his previous life, it told him that the sword in Yusu's hand could easily cut him down. "Although I sympathize with your current situation, our relationship must end here." After saying that, with the help of battle prediction, he swung his giant axe towards Yusu's head. Just as the giant axe was about to cleave Yusu's head, Yusu suddenly regained his senses and shouted, "Brother." At that moment, Chichenju's attack clearly paused for a second, but just because of that 1 second, Yusu was able to catch the giant axe, which was being swung at high speed, with one hand. Chichenju was immediately stunned. Could this be the prediction of a boundless battle? Then Yusu smiled at Chichenju with a sinister grin. He might be thinking to himself, "It's foolish to show off in front of Guangong." He overestimated himself. Then he stomped on Chichenju's body again. This sent Chichenju flying several dozen meters. He spat out a mouthful of old blood. At this point, Chichenju was already exhausted. He could barely support his body with his hand. The next moment, Wusu's consciousness suddenly wakes up. She looks at the car in the distance, thinking of saying something, but she notices that the ground in front of her is covered with tens of thousands of skeletal claws emitting dark energy. She sees Chichenju softly chanting, "The undead lying beneath the earth. Crush this vile woman in front of you." The undead warriors immediately charge at Yusu's long legs. For a moment, Yusu, who was clear-headed, did not know what to do. In an instant, Yusu's pupils suddenly widened. Her consciousness was again overtaken by the blood blade. With a few whooshing sounds, sword energy flashed by. She had already killed her way to Chichenju's front. I could barely even see how the Death Knight was severed. Could it be that she also used combat prediction? With his current strength, he could not possibly handle Yusu, whose consciousness was overtaken by the blood blade. Quine felt that fleeing was the best option now. He casually fired a magical energy wave. Taking advantage of the smoke, he quickly flashed and escaped the area. The moment he escaped, he was surprised to find that Yusu could barely stand at all. Could it be that his energy was drained? Yusu's eyes were bleeding? Could something be wrong with his body? It seems there is still a chance. After saying that, he immediately stepped forward. "Then I'll force you to use the battle prediction once more." Yusu saw that Chichenju dared to show up again. He chased after him holding a blood blade, but after chasing for a short distance, he stopped in place. He stared at Chichenju. He saw Chichenju curl his little finger. "Come on, come on. Do not you want to fight?" Enraged and berserk, Yusu swung his bloodstained knife down at his head. Chichenju quickly dodged the fatal blow with a swift move. At this moment, Wusu seemed to regain his senses. But suddenly, 2 goblins appeared on either side, each holding a poisoned blowpipe. It is actually a goblin zombie. The poison stinger was immediately shot out from the blowpipe. Chichenju smiled at the corner of his mouth. "No matter how strong you are, once hit by a goblin's paralysis stinger, you will be helpless. But to avoid the paralysis stinger, you must use battle prediction." And this is exactly what Chichenju was hoping for. The next moment, just as expected, the battle prediction was activated. Yusu let out a loud shout. In the blink of an eye, the 2 goblins were both slain. He then swung his bloodied blade toward Chichenju. Seeing this, Chichenju quickly leaped to the side, dodging the attack of the blood blade. Yusu did not give Chichenju any time to catch his breath. He jumped up in one swift motion and sprang toward Chichenju. Chichenju had not expected this. Yusu's lightning-fast reaction was something he could not avoid. I could only watch helplessly as the blood-red blade pierced towards me. Could it be that this time Qian Sungwu would rather die amiss, and even as a ghost remain debonair? Just as Qian Sungwu was about to meet his demise, suddenly a death goblin's poisonous sting struck Yusu in the shoulder. Yusu clearly froze for a moment. "See, I perform. I deserve a bonus. In your dream. Cannot you see I'm poisoned? Hurry up and get that antidote for me. Were not you so energetic just now? Keep hopping around then." But the next second, Guangsu could not stand and slowly fell down. Chichenju caught him. He was calculating how to deal with this hot potato, the Festival of Light. First, he gained resistance to the paralytic toxin by chewing on the venomous sting. Then he turned his gaze to the unconscious Yusu beside him. The ability she possessed really put Chang Chenju in a difficult position. He saw Yusu fall along with the blood blade. This is my word. It was as if the moment he grasped the blood blade, this man stared intently at Yusu, the master of this generation. So it's just a little ghost? Yusu asked you a monster. The man replied, you only guessed half right. He then placed the bloody blade across Yusu's neck. Considering you're a descendant of the monster clan, do not blame me for not warning you. Next time you dare draw this sword so easily, I will directly devour your consciousness. Yusu suddenly opened her eyes and woke up. Hey kid, look, Yusu finally woke up. Chichenju asked, do you remember what you did to me just now? Yu said she did not know anything. Then the three of them arrived at a town on the 6th floor of the Divine Tower. They decided to let Yusu recover her strength in the town first. Then they went all the way to the 10th floor of the Divine Tower in one go. But first they need to defeat the 9th floor boss. Carl said that the B-Zeros on the 9th floor is a king-level half-orc warrior. Wusu, upon hearing this, said then let's wait until I recover, and we'll go together. But Chichenju directly poured cold water on her. We should act separately. Yusu, looking shocked, said, brother, are you gonna leave me behind? That blood blade of yours is actually a magic sword. It gives you power, but it also erodes your consciousness. You almost killed me after you lost consciousness. So if you want to continue following us, you must completely discard that unstable power. Strengthen yourself and find us on the 10th floor of the Tower of Gods. I will do my best to reach the 10th floor of the Tower of Gods and reunite with my brother. The two then stood up and bid farewell to Yusu. Chichenji handed her a cloak. If you're alone out there and others know you're from the demon clan, then let's part ways for now. The two of them watched as Yusu walked away alone. They felt a bit reluctant to let go. No matter how long it takes, we will wait for you on the 10th floor. Then the two of them made their way to the 9th floor of the Tower of Gods. They went straight to the 9th floor of the Tower of Gods. They looked at the goblin orc boss in front of them. It was just a bit stronger than an ordinary goblin. Then they put on the ghost mask and activated the battle prediction. You useless good-for-nothing goblin boss. I'll slap you to death, you bastard. All you hear is a loud smack. The slap lands heavily on the goblin boss's face. Immediately after, a powerful kick sends him flying. The goblin boss crashes hard into the ground from the kick. At this point, Carl reminds, do not forget to capture the Death Knights. We need to create some half-orc Death Knight soldiers. Now triggering a beast horde attack is just routine for both of them. Then Carl suddenly asked, are not you being too cold-hearted towards Wusu? Criticize me when you see her next time? So do not just stand there like an idiot. Hurry up and catch me a few more halflings. Carl was instantly furious. Did not your parents teach you to respect your elders? Hearing this, Carl was momentarily stunned. So it turns out that Chichenju and Chu Jingson of the 9 Stars both grew up in orphanages. It cannot be helped. But before he could finish, Chichenju covered his mouth. Do not change the subject. Go catch me a half-beastman. You little brat, you're so rude. Come here, let uncle give you a hug. Carl, get away from me. I've always been like this. I hate it when people pity me. Chichenju immediately achieved the half-orc slayer achievement. Then, he followed the teleportation array to the challenge room on the 10th floor of the Tower of God. System prompt, defeat the Lord Monster to reach the 10th floor. Otherwise you will be forcibly sent back to the 9th floor. Carl questioned, I do not think I've ever seen this before. Not only are their names missing, but most of them are from the 4 great royal families, those born with advantages. How about we try to break the record today? That's actually a pretty good idea. Before the battle begins, the system will give the challengers ample time to prepare. 1 minute later, the system will begin summoning the Lord-level monsters. Once the boss appears, immediately use your soul magic soldiers to bind it. Then let's prepare for a great slaughter. Chichenju slammed his right hand onto the ground. A mysterious force spreads outward from the center of the palm. In the next moment, it summons a magical spear formed of energy. Muttering a silent incantation under his breath, let me show you the power of the Death King. 5 deadly attributes of different colors surge toward the magical spear. I almost forgot about this move. The spearhead crackles with black lightning. The shaft of the spear trembles continuously, like a warrior charging forward, waiting for their master's command. Let me see what kind of strength the descendants of the 4 great royal families truly possess. With a crack, the ground shattered. The test officially begins. The Lord Monster slowly opened its eyes. Who disturbed my beautiful dream? You a foolish human who do not know the meaning of death. Prepare to face my wrath. Carl did not waste. Instantly the Lord Monster was bound by Carl's soul chains. Seeing this, Chichenju immediately shouted. His spear, like a meteor, pierced towards the Lord Monster. It directly pierced through the Lord's palm and instantly exploded its head. System prompt. Meanwhile, everyone in the 8th floor tavern was discussing. This guy Gamian cleared the 10th level in less than a second. At this moment, Wusu was also looking at the screen in disbelief. Brother Chenji, wait for me. I'll definitely work hard. At this moment, Carl shouted excitedly. He actually set a new record for the 4 great royal families. This is an achievement that no necromancer has ever been able to reach in history. Lol, but who would have thought that Jinhyuk merely said, lol, have not the necromancers of all generations been just you and me? Lol, stop dragging out. Lol, there are still many things above waiting for us to handle. Lol, at this moment, a man with blonde hair and golden eyes stared at the screen in front of him. Well, this is getting interesting. Well, soon, the two arrived at the largest city on the 710th floor. Well, it is also the largest city within the first 100 floors. The teleportation portal to Earth is built right here. As a result, many people who gave up on continuing up the tower have started businesses here, forming a commercial district. There are Golden Fortune fruit stores everywhere, and Golden Fortune workshops. Golden Fortune, cross and confusion. Which family owns Golden Fortune? Jinhyuk slowly began explain. These all belong to the Golden Wealth Merchant Association. It is the largest known merchant association in the tower, which appeared decades ago. The head of the Golden Wealth Merchant Association is named Fo Ming. He is the first wealthy person in the tower. Anything that circulates within the tower will pass through his hands. At this point, Carl, confused, asked, how do you know so much? Jinhyuk explained that the purpose of this trip was to find a sponsor here. At this point, Carl was completely bewildered. What sponsor? Jinhyuk pointed to Jinhyuk's sign. All these signs all over the street are our future sponsors. Hearing this, Carl was momentarily stunned. The sponsor you're talking about would not be... Sponsor I'm looking for, it's... At the Jinfu Chamber of Commerce, as long as you can afford the price, anything of value can be traded through the guild. To buy or sell items, you need to register your name first. Jinhyuk did not say anything, but took out the 7 ghost masks. Please rephrase your words. The waiter was momentarily startled. Could you be the legendary? Does this mean I still need to register my name? Having said that, he dumped all the gold coins from his backpack. The waiter was speechless in astonishment. With such a grand gesture, what are you planning to buy? I want to see the owner of your Jinfu. I'm not sure if that's possible. I'm really sorry. This transaction may not be possible. The owner of our Jinfu trading company is usually very busy. While 3,000 gold coins is not a small sum, it's still not enough to buy our boss's time. Jinhyuk pondered for a moment. Then how much would it cost to see your boss? Scene change. Jinhyuk arrived at a private room on the 2nd floor. I am Paffy, the branch president of the 10th floor of Jinfu Shanghai. You must be the currently sought-after Mr. Ghostface. I heard you want to meet our boss, Jinfu. Jinhyuk immediately looked around. But it seems like he's not here. Sorry, Mr. Ghostface. The amount you presented might not be enough. How about this, Mr. Parf? Why did not you call him over first? I can guarantee that once he sees me, he'll want to be my sponsor. Do not you think your attitude is too arrogant and self-assured? Although you're quite famous now, thinking you can meet our boss just because of that might be a bit of a fool's dream. Meanwhile, the Ningen magic thread has already appeared in Paffy's hands. This is Paffy's puppetry skill. She can freely control anything bound by the magic thread. Sorry, Mr. Ghostface. We may have to ask you to leave. Jinhyuk looked at the magic thread before him. Then he grabbed the magic thread released by Paffy. Then I'll let you see what true arrogance and pride are. At this time, Paffy was shocked. This is a skill used against level 180 players. How could he, a level 10 player who just climbed the tower, possibly catch it? Then he managed to squeeze out a weak smile. How about this? Paifei clasped his hands together, and with a loud clap, then the two arrived in a desolate world. This must be your first time seeing a scene like this, right? The inner world. You separated our souls and created an entirely new infinite world. Paifei looked utterly incredulous at this moment. How could a level 10 player know about the inner world? If you can defeat me, I'll give you a chance to meet our boss. As soon as the words were out of his mouth, he calmly said, This is what you said, Paffy. Have not you realized yet? Your skills may be powerful, but here with me, they are completely ineffective. As soon as the words were spoken, he tore off all the magic threads on his body. Use everything you've got. Paffy looked at the man in front of him, shocked. This guy has at least the mental strength of a player above level 200. How is this possible? Paffy then snapped his fingers. I admit, your strength is enough to stand on equal footing with me. From the empty world, one soulless puppet after another crawled out, but in the inner world, these are all puppets summoned based on past experiences. These puppets are enhanced into humanoid weapons by injecting magical power. Each one possesses the strength of a player with over 50 levels. So from the moment you step into this inner world, the outcome was already determined. But there's no need to worry too much. The injuries here will not transfer to your body in the real world. It seems that this battle can already be considered over, but who would have thought? The next moment, these humanoid puppets were sent flying by Jinhyuk's shockwave. Did this guy use magic? Immediately after, an ancient, long-dormant roar reached their ears. A skeleton mage holding a staff and exuding the aura of death appeared before Paffy. Soul devouring mage. How could a level 100 Lord tier monster appear here? At this moment, Jinhyuk opened his mouth wide and looked at Paffy saying, So you wanted to summon the dead in the inner world. It's surprisingly difficult. Your puppet army is nothing but child's play. I guess you've never seen what a real undead army looks like. He then glared at Paffy. Then let's take this opportunity to show me. The true undead legion. The aura of death began to fill the entire inner world. Ancient undead appeared out of nowhere. Even the figures of the 4 great royal families appeared. At this point, Paffy had completely given up on resisting. Soldivar Mage, there are even the legendary 4 great royal families. You guy? Who the hell are you? Paffy had collapsed and was kneeling in front of Chichenju. Chichenju looked down at him. Now we can fulfill our bet, right? He then handed a letter to Paffy. Paffy said that if there was no response after submission, he would be powerless. Chichenju said confidently, he'll definitely reply to me. Then the two left under Parfit's respectful gaze. Let's go. Now you still have to go to another place with me. Before Boss Jinfu arrives, would not it be a waste of time to just wait here? Then the two of them arrived at the 7 White Light Devouring Guild manor. Then a meal was heard. The union door was forcefully pushed open by a car, with Cheng Yu behind it. Welcome to the White Light Devouring Union. May I ask, sir, what business do you have? I want to join your White Light Devouring Union. Welcome? Welcome? Do you have a letter of recommendation or a referrer? I do not have either. I just heard that your union is quite strong, so I came to check it out. The two women bared their white teeth. It seems like he's just a clueless beginner. Chichenju then took out a gold coin. The two were immediately shocked, staring wide-eyed at his actions. This guy actually managed to split the gold coin in half with just 2 fingers. Shit, this is child's play. I also know some simple magic. After speaking, both hands ignited a flame with mysterious symbols. The two women were whispering to each other. If cultivated well, this person might become an important figure in the guild. The blonde woman even said that this person was quite handsome and seemed to want both wealth and beauty. Cheng Yu sneered coldly at the two of them. The show's about to begin. At this moment, someone rushed in to report. Outside, many ghostly beasts are rampaging and destroying the village. Hearing this, the blonde woman gritted her teeth and said, "You've ruined my plans. All players above level 50 gather." Soon everyone found the source of the incident. It was none other than Uncle Carl, who wore an innocent expression. This guy destroyed so many villages, but why does he look so awkward? Damn you, Chichenju. It seems that the reputation of my first-generation Necromancer will inevitably be destroyed by his hands. Meanwhile, Chichenju is rampaging within the guild, slaughtering mercilessly. Tell me the names of the other guilds and their exact locations. I need this information to personally destroy them, but this person is being unreasonable. You dare openly challenge 2 of the 9 stars. Do you not wish to leave this tower alive? Do not you worry about it. Right now, you should worry about your own safety first. Saying this, he tightened his grip on his throat. The man then reached out his hand to the table over there. But only the dead can keep secrets. He then picked up the papers on the table. This guild's roster even includes the Jinfu Merchant Guild. Kane Kelman, just you wait and see my revenge. I will destroy the foundation of your existence, step by step. Let's start by making this union disappear completely. President Kim is reviewing the documents on his desk. Why did not he write it in the report? He even wrote a separate letter, but as he opened the letter, his pupils dilated involuntarily. How could this guy know about this? Meanwhile, the president of the White Light Guild, Beck, suspected that this incident might have been caused by Chichenju. He then asked the 2 women who had greeted him about his appearance. He has a tall and sharp nose, a handsome guy. He has a round and short nose, extremely ugly. It was at this moment that everyone realized they had been affected by Chichenju's illusion magic. Just as Chichenju was about to say that everything he wanted to know was already in his mind, a knocking sound suddenly came from outside the door. Carl muttered to himself that this was bad. Could it be that they've discovered us? Then, Chichenju said he would count to 3 and open the door, while Carl would be in charge of catching the person. Chichenju calmly walked up to the door. Carl did not hesitate. He summoned the soul chains and reached out to grab the person outside the door. With a loud snap, the soul chains bound the person tightly. To their surprise, the person turned out to be the receptionist from the All-Wealth Chamber of Commerce. It turns out the notice was for Chichenju to meet Boss Jinfu on the 10th floor, but when he opened the door, he saw rows of knights in armor. Chichenju wondered, could these knights be here to greet me? At this moment, Boss Jinfu slowly walked out. I never expected you would actually dare to show up in front of me. But that's all there is to it, because no one can survive knowing that secret. But Chichenju only gave a faint smile. Long time no see, my old friend. Then Jinfu instructed the knights, when he comes over, be careful not to kill him. At this moment, Chichenju had already assumed a combat stance. So you want to have a go with me, Jinfu? The knights' attacks were already charging towards Chichenju, but how could they possibly be a match for him? In the blink of an eye, the knights all fell to the ground. Next opponent, your Jinfu. As Che Sung-woo's attack was about to land, Jinfu spread his. Countless gold coins exploded around him. Che Sung-woo's pupils dilated instantly. Could this be golden power? Jinli is a skill that consumes gold and combines it with magic for use, but at this moment Chichenju remains completely unflustered. He leaps forward and charges at Jinfu. Is that all you got, Jinfu? Mr. Ghostface, please watch carefully. Countless golden spikes shoot up from the ground, aiming to impale Chichenju. If these spikes hit, there's no way out, only death. At this moment, Jinfu points his left hand toward the sky. But who knew what would happen next? Do not speak too soon. You're a little too confident, Jinfu. Jinfu gently pressed down on the gunpoint. You could die at any moment. Chichenyu responded calmly. I will not die until I get the answer I want. Because you want to know the source of the letter's contents, Jinfu then brought Chichenyu into a secret room. The moment the door closed, he used his gold power to construct a barrier neither gods nor demons can break through. Now can you tell me, who exactly told you that the auction house owner is mine? It turns out that the auction house is the largest trading system within the tower. But the auction house is not a product of the divine tower itself. It was created by humans. The person who created the auction house? If this secret is exposed, the foundation of the Golden Merchant Society will collapse. Chichenyu just smiled lightly. You've been tricked. There's no such person. Not gonna speak, huh? When you've lost a leg and an arm? Let's see if you'll still be so stubborn. Just as the giant axe formed by Jinli was about to strike down on Chichenyu's head, a wave of purple necrotic energy blocked the attack of the giant axe. Seeing Jinfu instantly widened his eyes. Why does this scene look so familiar? It turns out Chichenyu summoned Carl. Only a Necromancer king can summon the undead. Who exactly you? Change slowly removed his mask. Did you only recognize me now, Jinfu? William, it's time for you to pay up. Jinfu's expression instantly froze. You're still alive. Then, Chichenyu explained to him the struggles he had endured over the past 10 years. You were resurrected using Baal's secret arts. But Jinfu still could not believe that this was the real Chichenyu. Now you have to tell me, what is your true goal? It's just about you signing a sponsorship contract with me. The way you're making this request, it's as if this guild belongs to you. Why is not? You used to be just a wandering little merchant. Who brought you the loot from the upper levels of the next tower? So I guess I'm also the largest shareholder of the guild. Jinfu thought to himself, this guy has such thick skin. He's really like that scoundrel Chichenyu. Even if you really are Chichenyu, it also requires compensation. So what will I get if I sign a contract with you? You will receive the conclusions derived from all the information I know. Sounds good. Then we'll have to see what its actual value is. The 9 stars is a power capable of making the entire divine tower tremble. They hold themselves in high regard and would rarely submit to others. The man is also one of the 9 stars and his strength surpasses that of the other 8. He became the first person to reach the 600th floor of the divine tower solely through his own strength. But for some unknown reason, he was killed by other Star Alliance members working together. It turns out that behind his 8 stars, there were even more terrifying forces. And the only 4 forces within divine tower capable of commanding the other 8 stars are the ones who can actually do it. Jinfu was stunned, his mouth agape. Could it be the legendary 4 great royal families? Chichenyu explained. The 4 great royal families want to protect their racial superiority. If another race surpasses them within the tower, they will feel their superiority trampled upon. Therefore, they must eliminate any alien races that threaten their power. And those who deal with such alien races are mid to high level leaders like Juk Sing. Jinfu doubtfully stated that this was just his own deduction, lacking evidence. Chichenyu smiled faintly. Do you know about the 100-story ghost village? They were cleansed just like me. And I know the only survivor of the ghost tribe. Do not you find it strange, Kim Bu? At such a chaotic and terrifying time, the ghost tribe let a small child survive with a sword. At this moment, Kim Bu suddenly realized. So the massacre of Ghost Village was for that child and that blood-stained sword. They wiped out the entire goblin village to kill this little goblin, and this surviving goblin like me will pose a future threat to the 4 great royal families. My goal is to kill those 9 stars bastards. If the 4 great royal families are truly behind this, I will personally destroy the 4 great royal families who murdered your parents. So Jinfu's parents and their clan were also killed by the 4 great royal families when he was a child. Now do you think this information is worth making a pact with me? Chichenyu smiled and said it was truly a smart choice. Immediately Jinfu suddenly widened his eyes and said, but you need to prove to me that you are Chichenyu. Right now immediately. Chichenyu sighed. After all this you still want me to prove it? Hearing is believing, seeing is confirming. Therefore you must prove it. Chichenyu, having no choice, could only have Baal come forward to prove his identity. But Baal said he wanted to shake hands with him first, and that for something as important as proving one's identity, he should shake hands at least 3 times. Chichenyu extended his right hand with a look of disgust. 3 times should be enough, right? Baal then swore in the name of the pinnacle of evil that this person was undoubtedly Chichenyu. Jinfu then said with a smile, Mr. Ghost, nice to see you again. Nice to see you again too, Mr. Jinfu. One day we will both introduce ourselves with our real identities. I need all kinds of weapons available on the market in Tanei City. The more the better. Jinfu asked with a puzzled look. You need so many weapons, are you planning to blow up the 10th floor? Chichenyu grinned, revealing a set of purely white teeth. Have you heard of the Master of All Trades? Jinfu looked at Chichenyu's personal information in disbelief. It turns out that the Master of All Trades is actually a profession. The literal meaning is that I am proficient in all kinds of weapons. Even with a weapon I've never used before, I can handle it with ease. At this moment Jinfu muttered to himself, if that's really the case, then Chichenyu will be several times stronger than before. Although his current state is a bit weak, given time he will surely rise to the top of the Tower of Gods. He then arranges for Pafi to buy all the weapons on the 10th floor of the tower. The scene. At this moment, Yusu is trying to solo the 10th floor boss. Unfortunately, his strength is limited, and he is repeatedly knocked back to the 9th floor by the boss. Yusu swears to make himself stronger. At this moment, the sword spirit of the blood blade suddenly appears. Why not just use my power directly? That way you could instantly defeat that half-orc boss. I already made a promise to my brother when we parted. I must become strong through my own efforts. Pafi took out a piece of clothing and said everything needed is inside it. Shimayu looked at Jinfu completely confused. What's going on? Jinfu grinned and said, this is called the Eurospace jacket. The lining of the clothes is connected to a dimensional space. If it's just for storing items, its capacity can rival that of a large warehouse. It can also change its temperature, color, and size according to the player's preferences. This thing is a rare item inside the Divine Tower. The one who should be concerned is you. From now on, all my expenses will be on you. At this time, Xingtai and his 2 lackeys also arrived at the 10th floor of the Divine Tower. This is the territory of the White Light Devouring Guild. And that guy called Ghostface dared to threaten me. If I ever meet you again, I'll make you wish you were dead. But when the 3 of them arrived at the guild's door, their eyes widened. The White Light Guild building, it was burned to ashes, and everyone else from the guild had gone to the 30th floor. Just as the 3 were discussing their next move, a small white fox appeared from the alleyway, seemingly out of nowhere. This is precisely when Xingtai was at his angriest. He kicked the little fox away with a flying kick. You blind thing, cannot you see I'm in a bad mood? Just then, Xingtai's leg felt like it had been broken by a huge golden rock. He immediately cried out in pain, breaking into a cold sweat. Damn it, who attacked me? Then a dark figure suddenly appeared in the dark alley. I'm the fox you just stepped on. Your future master. Just now, Qian Sungwu was preparing to go to the advancement tower to obtain spiritual energy. Cao questioned, are not you already a necromancer king? Qian Sungwu explained that his profession was obtained through a memory bug from his past life. Therefore, he currently has no spiritual energy obtained through cultivation. Upon hearing this, Cal instantly understood. Just then, the 9-tailed fox nearby seemed to be sending a plea for help. He realized his child was in danger. That's how the previous scene unfolded, and it triggered the neutral god 9-tailed fox's help request, Task 7. This is a gift from heaven, you should not refuse it. At this moment, Xingtai was glaring at him, gnashing his teeth. You again, Ghostface? Chichenju merely glanced at him indifferently. Why does this guy look so familiar? Xingtai immediately yelled angrily. Are you trying to provoke me? Brothers, get him! Just as their weapons were about to strike Chichenju's head, the next second, they realized that both the person and the fox had disappeared without a trace. Do you know who this little guy is? Maybe he can help you turn your life around. But Xingtai could not listen at this moment. His mind was on how to get revenge on Chichenju. He then asked the 9-tailed fox how to deal with those people. The 9-tailed fox said she wanted them killed immediately. This reckless Xingtai actually sent his men to attack. Chichenju just glanced at them indifferently. Then there were 2 whooshing sounds. Xingtai's severed leg actually flew back. That guy Gumian actually used my severed leg to attack me, but the next second it was too late to regret. The 3 people behind Chichenju were blown to bits by the body bomb. The incident came to an end, looking the little fox in my arms. I'll name you Tail Fox. Carl, holding his beard, seemed satisfied. The 9-tailed fox beside them kept nodding. The system prompt showed successfully rescued the 9-tailed fox's child, Tail Fox. Tail Fox head was buzzing. Beside them, Chichenju widened his mouth in surprise. It's actually a fox mask. When worn, it grants the abilities of a fox. The stronger the master, the stronger the mask's abilities. Is similar to a ghost mask, but rejecting his guess, the ability of this fox mask should be. For long-range attacks, there's no skill more useful than this one. Feed the 9-tailed fox 999 fresh livers to increase intimacy. 999 livers? It seems like only Chichenju can handle this personally. Increasing intimacy might bring some unexpected benefits. I'm really looking forward to it, the 9-tailed fox. At this moment, Carl said he was going out for a walk. Just let him know. Chichenju reminded him to go to the job change tower after dawn. If he cannot come back in time, I'll go get him. Only after going out did Carl realize the current tower is completely different from before. A sudden sound in his head, this feeling so familiar. He immediately looked towards the direction from which the feeling came. Judging from the horns on its head and the tyrannical magic, it's indeed one of the legendary 4 great royal families. I only heard this dragon repeatedly muttering, I really want to exterminate all these dragons. Hearing this, Carl was instantly startled. Dragons' love for their own kind is almost abnormal. Among the 4 great royal families, they are also exceptionally proud and possessive. If his own kind were to hear such words, it's likely that there will be no survivors. That's really the case. The dragon clan will completely overturn the 10th floor. At this moment, someone in the crowd quietly said that the dragon clan has been standing there for several days. Every day they repeat things that others cannot understand. At this moment, Carl also looked puzzled. The dragon clan has not taken any action against this guy for so many days. Something feels off. The dragonborn suddenly turned around and looked in Carl's direction. Carl does not feel well. Is this the magic I feel on me? Then the dragon clan person suddenly said, so it's you, the little imp wandering around? Seeing that he called him an imp, Carl immediately lost his composure. He quickly shot back. You little imp from the dragon clan, Seeing that you did not even recognize me, it just shows that your strength is nothing special. Hearing this, the Dragon Clan member immediately flew into a rage. You dare call me a Dragon Clan member? With that, he swung toward Carl, but Carl managed to dodge. The distance from Shichenji was too far, so his magic and soul were restricted. The Dragonman shouted out, "Come out and face me directly, you bastard." At this moment, a bystander remarked, "This person has horns on their head." The next second, this dragon-like person changed direction and started chasing them. "Who are you calling a dragon? Your whole family is the Dragon Clan." It was at this moment that Carl realized, although this guy looked like a dragon, he was way too sensitive about this title. So Carl wondered if there could be another explanation. Could it be that the body and soul are two different people? I immediately thought of that kid Shichenji, but is there really a possibility of that? Hee. This has certainly sparked the curiosity of this graduate student of mine. I have to see it with my own eyes, whose soul is truly inside this dragon's body. With that said, a soul laser shot straight towards the dragon human's body. "Not bad, little brat, you actually know how to use your soul as a weapon," Carl immediately said. "The magic that uses the soul as man is called spiritual power. It's a skill that even that little punk has not learned yet. I, the great Carl, am the most outstanding spiritual mage. You'll regret meeting me today." "You little brat are already introducing yourself? Well then, let's see if you can take this strike. Let me introduce myself. I'm Hendrik the Dragon Slayer. In other words, the one who is about to kill you." Carl, this old guy, really stirred up a hornet's nest this time. As the name suggests, I got my title from slaying dragons. This guy has even climbed the 8,000-step divine tower. If it's really the soul of a dragon slayer, then it's really over for him now. Even if Shichenji came, he probably could not handle it. Stop making futile effort. Saying this, he swung his long sword at Carl. Since that's the case, then today I can only go all out. Carl roared, soul shackle. As soon as he finished speaking, seeing this, the Dragon Man sensed danger and needed to quickly dispel the soul tendrils. There was only a sound. Several soul tendrils were all severed in an instant by the Dragonman's sword. "Is this all you're capable of? What other tricks do you have? Feel free to use them." Carl let a loud roar, soul merge. A giant hand form from condensed soul energy materialized. Turns out Carl was willing to combine his entire life force and soul in order to unlock the full potential of the demon mage. This maximizes the power of the spirit mage. The Dragonman gasped in shock. "You little devil, you're not even afraid of death? You're even willing to use a forbidden skill." But Kakar could not care less anymore. The giant soul hand slammed down on the Dragonman with a loud bang. Then with a thunderous boom, a plume of dust and debris shot hundreds of meters into the air. That guy should be unable to move for now. All the souls and spiritual energy stored in his body have been used up. If he continues, defeat is inevitable. The best option is to retreat. So Carl did not hesitate and turned to flee. In the blink of an eye, the giant soul hand was actually sliced in half. I really underestimated this little brat. I did not expect this guy to have so many tricks up his sleeve. What was his name again? Writes Carl. Very, very good. Kid, you've successfully piqued my interest. I, Hendrik of the Dragon Clan, hereby swear again today. Next time I will tear you apart. Meanwhile, Shichenji arrived at the entrance of the job change tower. Where's that old rascal Carl? Why is not he back yet? And he's not responding to my signal either. Forget it, I'll deal with it after the job change. He then pushed open the doors of the mage job change tower. Welcome. I'm the manager of the job change tower. Just call me. Shichenju said he wanted to borrow the soul house here. Of course you can, but first you need to prove that you are a magician. The next second, a tremendous amount of magical power surged wildly into the crystal ball. Ken was instantly startled into a cold sweat. This is impossible. How could a level 10 tower climber possess such powerful magic? As the magical power continued to surge uncontrollably, the test crystal ball suddenly cracked with a snap. The crystal ball then exploded with a loud bang. It sent Ken staggering to the side. At this moment, Ken looked completely confused and lost. "Do not just stand there. Please hurry and take me to the soul house." Then Ken led him into a mysterious passage. Who exactly is this guy? With a creak, the wooden door finally opened, leading to the House of Souls. This place is simply the heaven for wizards. At this moment, Ken decided to leave. "If you need anything, feel free to call me." Just as Shichenju was about to start, he suddenly sensed Carl's arrival. At this moment, he could clearly feel Carl's spirit was weak and dispirited. "I feel completely drained." So Shichenju quickly asked, "Why are you only coming now?" Shichenju did not press further. He slowly removed his mask and said, "I also want to learn to use spiritual power, just like you. My demonic spirit warriors, all come up." The demonic spirit warriors slowly lit the candles. So-called spiritual power is a required skill for soul mages. It allows one to use his soul like magic. However, the fastest way to awaken spiritual power is to first let oneself die and become a soul. Seeing Shichenju's contorted expression, the little fox cub kept babbling beside him. Carl stepped forward and gently held the fox cub in his arms. "Do not worry, everything is going smoothly." It looks like we've already entered the soul world. A sense of unease entered Carl's mind. This body is truly perfect. I can finally be resurrected. It turns out that at some point, the evil spirit from the House of Souls broke free. It is desperately trying to take over Shichenju's body. Upon realizing this, Carl immediately gave the order. The spirit warriors. Under Carl's leadership, the spirit warriors did not hold back. They tackled both tasks simultaneously. No matter how the evil spirits struggled, it was useless. Carl used his remaining spiritual power to continuously bombard the evil spirits. The administrator rushed in upon hearing the commotion. What the hell is going on? Why is everything in such chaos? Ignoring his question, Carl simply ignored him. Do not just stand there, you idiot. Come and give me a hand. At this time, the little fox was hiding to the side, trembling with fear. Just then, this perfect body will be mine soon. By the time Carl and the other discovered it, it was too late. Their eyes widened as they watched the evil spirit about to possess Shichenju's body. Just at this critical moment, the little fox suddenly leaped high with a whoosh. At that moment, just as it was about to strike, the little fox stood between the evil spirit and Shichenju. It let out a strange chirping sound from its mouth. Suddenly, its body emitted a dazzling array of colorful lights. This sight immediately left Carl in shock, mouth agape. What kind of light is coming from this little creature? Even the evil spirit beside them was stunned, looking completely bewildered. But before I could react, the evil spirit's eyes began to glaze over. This little guy is so cute. Look at those charming big eyes. And that tiny adorable tail. But as soon as I said that, dozens of evil spirits, as if drunk, fell to the ground one after another. Carl also fell to his knees with a thud. Even the nearby demonic warrior's eyes were filled with a blush. She looked charming and lovely. But the old ginger is still the hottest. Carl instantly sobered up. This little fox's enchanting technique can not only manipulate human desires, but even control spiritual bodies. Truly worthy of a divine beast's bloodline. At this moment, a stern voice suddenly rang out. It's so... Who dared to disturb this one's sweet dream? Such a fresh... Carl cried out in alarm. Shadow Skeleton King. That guy was a powerful tower climber before. We absolutely cannot let him possess Qian Sungwu's body. I have to find a way to stop him. But after only a few steps, he collapsed. Damn it, the charm effect has not worn off yet. I cannot even move. He immediately shouted loudly. Little Tail Fox, you must stop that guy. Such a perfect body. You damn barbarian, get the hell out of here. With that, the skeleton giant claw reached for Little Tail Fox. But Little Tail Fox did not retreat. Instead, she advanced. She swore to protect her master, even if it cost her life. In the blink of an eye, she pounced in front of the Shadow Skeleton King. The Skeleton King, seeing this, questioned doubtfully, what the hell? This little thing, unaware of its own mortality, dares to come to my door. But at this time, Little Tail Fox could not care less. It cried out at the Skeleton King with a series of soft, tender chirps. The Skeleton King was instantly shocked by this scene, his mouth agape. This is the aura of a divine beast. The next second, the golden light around Little Tail Fox dissipated. It only expelled a tiny cute pink heart. Carl felt unwell. This little guy's first use of its charm skill must have reached its limit. You little two-tailed fox, you're a truly great tonic. Saying this, he raised his soul blade and slashed down at Little Tail Fox. At this point, Little Tail Fox was completely limp and helpless on the ground, awaiting the arrival of death. A beam of light formed from necrotic energy suddenly shot toward the Skeleton King. Thank you, Little Tail Fox. It turns out that Shichenju has awakened. You big green stick. Please accept your punishment. The vengeful spirits of the land of the dead, I command you in the name of the Necromancer King, completely destroy this big green stick before you. At this moment, the Shadow Skeleton King was still struggling. How dare you, bastard? But before the words were finished, he realized a large hole had already been pierced through his chest. Big green stick, do you have any last words? If not, then it's over. Chenju stretched out both hands and let out a roar. Wrath of the Demon Spirit. The Shadow Skeleton King's body was instantly pierced with several large holes. That move was quite impressive. Did you gather the death energy and then shoot it out in an instant? How is it the power seems decent? At this moment, Paffy suddenly arrived and said there was something important to deliver. This is the poison you need, with gradually increasing potency. And this puppet beside me is also for you? Shichenju was instantly bewildered. Is not this puppet for your own use? Because I have something to do. This puppet is a personal gift from me. It can help you do many things. Shichenju asked doubtfully, what are you going to do? I think it's time to strengthen my abilities. My goal is to become the top merchant in the tower. But judging from the current situation, a person with the strength of a 100-floor tower climber cannot be called the best merchant. If you cooperate with our boss, Jin Fu, one day you will definitely become someone who looks down on others from the top of the tower. That's why I made up my mind to make this decision. Upon hearing this, Shichenju laughed loudly. That's really not a bad idea. And at that time, I'll be on par with your boss, Jin Fu. When my strength allows it, I will tell you my plan with Jin Fu. Upon hearing this, Mr. Parfy bowed gracefully. I will not disappoint you. After seeing off Mr. Parfy, Shichenju opened the box. A wicked smile appeared on his face. Carl, seeing this, was startled and broke into a cold sweat. Are you planning to eat all of these? Shichenju picked up the ice-cold stone. Do I need another reason? My ability will turn everything I swallow into resistance to power or something else. Are not you curious? Even though he has the ability to devour everything and gain resistance, Drinking it will still make him suffer the excruciating pain of ants gnawing at his heart. But even so, the man still hesitates, not drinking it down in one gulp. The nine-tailed fox does not even want the little fox to witness this terrifying scene, because the sight is too violent and bloody. After enduring pain beyond what most people can bear, he gained various resistances. He then asked, "Where are the tower climber and the little fox?" Seeing this, Carl said everyone was fine, but when the manager looked back, he was instantly startled and cried out. At this time, the demonic Saul warriors outside returned to report. All the surrounding orcs and goblins have been captured. Then let's let the little fox eat something and complete the task. By the way, Carl suggested, should not we adjust the flavor of this guy's food? The little fox began nibbling on the orc goblin's body beside it. The satisfied little fox showed a contented expression after eating and drinking well. At this moment, Jinhyuk suddenly looked at Carl. Carl, puzzled, asked, "How did you know? Last night your magic power fluctuated wildly. You did not meet with someone from the 4 great royal families, did you?" Carl explained, "I had a fight with someone from the dragon clan. That person was really strong." Hearing this, the demonic energy on Jinhyuk's body instantly surged out. Could it be that the 4 great royal families have already learned about me and come here? Calm down, do not release your demonic energy casually on the street. At that moment, Jinhyuk suddenly spat out a mouthful of thick soup with a puff. It must be the side effect of the devouring skill. That guy's no ordinary dragon. He then fully recounted the events that had happened. Jinhyuk said that he had heard of the name Hendrik, the dragon slayer, before, but this matter is just too absurd. He was immediately taken aback. But then he thought about it. He and this person were not so different after all. This guy used to be one of the top combatants in the Divine Tower. It was said that he first dealt with a young dragon. Then he brutally killed all the Dragon Clan members who were chasing him. But it is said that he died when he reached the 800th floor of the Divine Tower. It's also possible that this is a trap set by the 4 great royal families. It seems it's time to meet this guy called Hendrik. As soon as he finished speaking, he coughed heavily a few more times. Carl expressed concern, saying that he must not push himself too hard. Jinhyuk said that while his talent is devouring, the downside is that it has to be swallowed. The internal injuries caused by poison firestones and cold stones are no joke. The best solution is to obtain divine power to purify them. The little tail fox on his shoulder suddenly hissed and called out ahead. Jinhyuk immediately turned his body and looked forward, following the fox's sound. He was startled when he saw what was in front of him. The people had looked very strange. One by one, they moved toward the 2 of them like mindless zombies. However, these people did not seem to have any awareness, and they did not react to the little tail fox's ability at all. A series of sharp high heel sounds echoed from afar. The 2 of them simultaneously looked in the direction from which the sound came. A path more than a meter wide automatically appeared. A woman with a hello above her head slowly walked towards them. "Long time no see, Mr. Ghostface." Jinhyuk was instantly startled. "But seeing you, I cannot feel any joy." The woman had already reached him and grabbed the hilt of his sword. To prevent herself from doing something she would regret later, Jinhyuk was immediately shocked. In front of the Heavenly Clan young lady, Jinhyuk had no strength to resist. The next second, the young lady gently stroked his cheek. His internal organs were severely damaged as well. Jinhyuk nervously asked, "What are you going to do?" But the young lady did not respond. Suddenly, the hello above her head lit up. Then golden light gathered in her palm and entered Jinhyuk's body. Seeing this, Jinhyuk immediately exclaimed. But as the golden light dissipated, she discovered that all the damage in his body had completely healed. Carl nervously stepped forward and asked if there were any injuries. The woman slowly withdrew her right hand. "This is the power of our Heavenly Clan. Now you should understand that I came here with no ill intentions, right? Let me introduce myself. My name is Gloria. I belong to the wingless celestial tribe." At this moment, the clock on the street chimed. Everyone began to wake up from their unconscious state. Soon Jinhyuk followed the young lady to a hotel. He gently closed the door behind him. "Tell me, what are you really trying to do?" Uriel said it was only a matter of erasing part of their memories. This is also to protect the residents here. If they knew the Sky Clan had reached the 10th floor, things would become very troublesome. Indeed, the mysterious Sky Clan. They even thought of protecting the residents here. They seem quite capable. Uriel looked at the little fox beside him and slowly said. His gaze suddenly turned sharp. "And this ghost friend of mine who is glaring intently at me. So what exactly is your purpose in seeking us out?" Yul slowly said. "The person with strange powers and a mysterious mask is plotting an extraordinary plan. Together with those lackeys around him, he is nothing to our Heavenly Clan. The reason I came to visit you is because of a prophecy in my clan." Jinhyuk quickly realized. "And what exactly is this organization called the Whoopin' Heavenly Clan?" Hearing this, Uriel slowly took off his shirt. Seeing this, Chenju was startled. What are you doing in public? He then discovered that the wings symbolizing the honor of the celestial clan were broken. Uriel continued. Celestial society is gradually going mad. Anyone who has even a slightly different idea from them will be regarded as an outsider and mercilessly expelled. And I will be punished by having the wings symbolizing my race ripped off, and I'm one of those outcasts. Celestials like me are called wingless. I was banished by the people of the celestial city, Utopia. According to ancient celestial prophecies, you will become one of the forces that will overthrow the rule of the 4 great royal families. Hearing this, Chi Sung-woo just glanced back. It seems what this woman said is not entirely false. Carl nervously asked what to do. Chenju suggested they should just agree to her for now, but then the tone suddenly changed. What benefits can your wingless bring me? Chenju opened his eyes wide in disbelief, but Uriel immediately responded. The power that the wingless possess is already strong, but because of that, on the one hand, I'm very grateful, because even when facing the enemy, we remain united against them. Hearing this, Chenju said it was too underwhelming. He felt it would be a shame not to cooperate. After all, it's power from the celestial clan. But if we accept the price is too high, then he changed the subject. If we accept, it's not impossible. But there is one condition. When I need to rely on your strength, you must agree without conditions. I swear in the name of the wingless celestial tribe that we agree to this condition. That's good. From now on we are in an alliance. Seeing this, Uriel bowed to Chenju. Thank you, Mr. Ghostface. Since that's the case, now I can tell you my true identity. Immediately after, I asked Uriel if it was possible to block the surveillance of gods and demons. After saying that, Uriel pulled a feather from his body. Then he gently blew on it. In an instant, the entire room was filled with an incredibly holy divine power. It was surprisingly similar to the golden power skill that Jin Fu had used. Are you sure those guys cannot hear our conversation? Uriel gave a definite answer. Upon hearing this, she only saw Jinhyuk slowly take off his mask. You so-called gods and demons, perverted voyeurs. Today I can finally get rid of you all. Upon hearing this, Uriel instantly looked confused. Are you telling me that you made me create this space just to insult these gods and demons? Of course not. Since we're already in the same boat, I should let you all know my true identity. The fallen star Chenju, one of the 9 stars from 10 years ago. Uriel suddenly kneeled down with a thud. It's all our heavenly clan's fault. Upon hearing this, Chenju's heart instantly jolted. Could it be that you know I am Jinhyuk who died 10 years ago? At this moment, Uriel was already in tears. 10 years ago, when the 4 great royal families were discussing the plan to assassinate you, we the heavenly clan were also accomplices. Jinhyuk heard this, his face showed no expression. He simply closed his eyes and silently pondered. Suddenly he took a heavy step forward. The next second, the demonic aura all over his body suddenly erupted. Hearing this, Uriel immediately said, Do you know what happens after climbing the 999-story divine tower? You will be like the tower's administrator, constantly spying on everyone's privacy. The 4 great royal families monopolized that supreme position, despising the common people. They were constantly immersed in their own racial superiority. And they also treated everyone except their own race, all those who tried to conquer the divine tower, as being trampled underfoot and eliminated. Hearing this, Chi Sung-woo immediately broke out in a cold sweat. You mean a plan to leave no one alive? So you already knew about this plan. It was just a guess before, but now it's confirmed. Including the fact that you're the mastermind, mentioning it in front of me. Is there anything more ridiculous than this? To think that the woman in front of me is one of the masterminds who killed me. Chenju could not control himself. I will take your head and send it back to your wingless clan. At this moment, Uriel slowly stood up, exuding a terrifying aura from his body. He then slowly spoke. It was because of this incident that I became wingless. Hearing this, Chenju's face was filled with shock. What did you say? Uriel slowly explained. It was because of my opposition to a plan to exterminate tower climbers 10 years ago. That's why I turned into the wingless one now. And the name of the tower climber is you, Mr. Ghostface. As soon as the words were spoken, Uriel began to cry softly. At this moment, Chenju was filled with regret, unsure of what to do. Chenju said it was his misunderstanding. Sorry, Uriel. Now I understand the relationship between you wingless ones and the Sky Clan. Thank you for your understanding, Mr. Ghostface. But there's something I must explain to you. Among the other 4 great royal clans, there should also be people like us wingless ones. If you encounter them in the future, I hope you will accept them as well. I promise. Anyway, I'm bound to meet all sorts of strange fellows, but one thing is certain. There are also exiled members among the other 4 royal families, and there should be quite a few of them. If we encounter them and take them in, it would greatly help us in future battles with the 4 royal families. Then the conversation shifted. If I want to see you again, where should I look? Whirl said, just come to Dream City on the 190th floor of the Divine Tower. This is much lower than Jinhyuk imagined. Uriel said, the higher you go, the greater the influence of the 4 great royal families, and above that it is his territory. At this point, Jinhyuk also realized, I completely forgot about that guy. The Uriel referred to as the Martial Emperor Tace, levels 200 to 300 are all under his control. Compared to the 4 great royal families, the chances of dying at this guy's hands are much higher. Oh no, Master Chi and Sung Woo, Can I change back into my own clothes first? Hearing this, Chi and Sung-woo thought, this is an angel. I cannot let him go just like that. If possible, could you leave me something before you go? Uriel immediately replied, you saw. I have nothing on me but my clothes. Hearing this, Chi and Sung-woo smiled. Nothing else. Your body's enough. Seeing this, Uriel immediately covered herself with her clothes. I did not expect you to be this kind of person. She glared at him angrily, saying. Chi and Sung-woo awkwardly explained, I only wanted your body. I just want a few feathers from your wings. So that's what you want. You scare. Immediately reaching for the back, feathers can grow back if they're lost. Looking at the full handful of heavenly feathers, Uriel reminded, these feathers cannot be lost carelessly. The Celestials have the ability to track the owner of the feathers, but the answer that Chichenju gave really surprised Uriel. Anyway, I'll eat all these feathers. You really are that kind of person. Immediately he tightly protected his chest. After Chichenju's series of winks and explanations, I'll temporarily trust you, then see you at Dream City next time. I will absolutely not disappoint you wingless ones, then I'll wait and see, Mr. Chichenju. Or should I just call you Ghostface for now? Suddenly with a whoosh, Uriel disappeared, leaving only the phantom image of scattered feathers. The little fox beside him made a series of meow 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 sounds. At this time, Carl stepped forward and asked, does this mean we're gonna eat now? Chichenju looked at the feathers in his hand. I'm curious if I can withstand this celestial power. And what kind of power would I gain if I succeed? As long as you can handle it. Just do not go around scavenging for food like that guy. Chi and Sung-woo shoved a feather into his mouth, even swallowed it whole in a second, but the moment he swallowed it, Chi and Sung-woo could not help but grab his throat and yell in pain. This is what you want to eat. What happened next is not my concern. After saying that, he happily started playing with the little tail fox, ignoring everything else. Uncle will take you on an airplane. He completely ignored Chichenju, who was in excruciating pain, as if millions of ants were gnawing at his heart. At this moment, divine power had filled Chichenju's entire body, but in the next second his consciousness suddenly awakened. Then he found himself in a desolate space. He struggled to push himself up with his hands. He looked at the scene in front of him. Is this? How did I end up here? Then he realized that his body could not handle the power of the divine force. It seems I have to settle this here if I want to get out. If that's the case, then let's begin. He reached out with his hand, sensing everything around him. The next moment, he quickly turned his head to look. What appeared before his eyes was a golden waterfall formed by divine power. The force created by this small feather now appeared in his eyes like a towering mountain. This golden waterfall was undoubtedly his own divine power. Thankfully, he did not fight with Wooler just now. Otherwise, at this moment, he would probably already be a corpse. Thinking of this, he quickly swallowed. But if I defeat her and absorb her entire body? No, let's not think about that. If I did, I'd probably explode instantly. But just then, he suddenly realized that his thoughts were actually reflected in this inner world. The liquid formed by divine power, like a flood, was engulfing him. It seems I have to fight this waterfall of divine power. Otherwise, I'll be swallowed. It seems there's no other way. At this moment, Carl was also very puzzled. Why did this guy's body suddenly start shaking? But then he realized that this guy was emitting a terrifying aura. It looked like spiritual power, but it did not quite seem like it. Thinking of this, Carl suddenly reacted. Could it be that he's using his own soul as material for the spiritual power? But if he fails, his soul will be shattered. But soon he regained his composure, muttering while holding the little tail fox in his arms. The fact that his body can move means he has his own plans. Upon seeing this, the little tail fox could not help but worry about him. You must hold. The Ning family is relying on you to support them. I really want to see what kind of surprise you'll bring us this time. This guy actually got a long straw. But after trying for a long time, he found this method completely useless. Too much water. He cannot finish it. He just cannot finish it. He thought that by using spiritual power to create an image that suppressed divine power, he could swallow all the liquid in the waterfall. But now it seems he thought too simply. He has to find a way to solve his current predicament. Otherwise, his soul will be completely suppressed by divine power, and will never be able to return to reality. Since this will not work, I'll create the most suitable image using the field I am best at. I'll use this vast waterfall of divine power to devour and control it. With a wave of his hand, a massive creature made of spiritual energy suddenly appeared. Let me see how much golden liquid this divine power can gather. He had condensed his spiritual power into a massive shark. Like a whale absorbing rivers, it continuously swallowed the golden liquid into its body. His throat also kept swallowing as the giant shark did. I could hardly wait to feel the power this divine energy would bring me. Starting now, the real show is about to begin. The giant shark roared. Like a divine dragon, it charged upward toward the waterfall. He immediately opened his bloodthirsty mouth wide. Golden liquid flowed directly into the giant whale's mouth. This really is delicious. Let's see how much you have left. At this moment, Chichenju's eyes had turned greedy. It's not enough, not nearly enough. I want more. Let the divine power come even stronger. I was originally worried that I might not be able to consume so much. But at this moment, I only regret that this golden liquid is too little. At this moment, Chichenju's body was also grinning. Ball standing nearby immediately revealed his devilish smile. He clapped his hands in approval. Chichenji's actions reminded Ball of his own past. He was once a greedy and vicious dragon. He spent his days indulging in devouring everything in sight. Not only that, he even wants to devour everything in the world. He is a mad evil dragon. At this moment, Chichenju was no less than him, perhaps even worse. He had fully revealed humanity's greed. Every pore exuded a sense of greed. As the giant whale continued to devour, Chichenju slowly regained consciousness. You brat, you've finally woken up. The little fox beside him also grinned and laughed. How's it going with devouring success? If you fail, do not tell anyone you're the disciple of the first-generation Necromancer. Then Chichenju revealed a guess what look. That truly is as you wish. He then slowly extended his right hand. Immediately an energy sphere appeared in his hand, a fusion of divine power and spiritual power. Not only that, he also created a seed within his body that could generate divine power organs. Lord Carl, are you satisfied with this? Upon hearing this, Carlton was shocked. This guy, a mere human, has actually fused divine power and spiritual energy. Even the gods probably could not achieve this. He then burst into laughter. The 4 great royal families knew and issued a manhunt for you. It would be even more entertaining. In response, Chichenju was not surprised. His actions have already offended the dignity of the 4 great royal families. It should not just be a simple matter of Xingdi chasing him down. At this moment, Carl also realized that the fusion of divine power was indeed a great achievement for a necromancer. But at this point, Chichenju's power was not yet enough to rival the 4 great royal families. If the fusion is discovered by the 4 great royal families too soon, Xingzhen might very well strike it down in the cradle. The group arrived at the 10th floor outdoor hunting area. With a furious roar from the demon spirit warrior, the level 10 goblin monsters were in deep trouble. The remaining goblin leader was already on its last legs, watching his subordinates fall one by one with no way to stop it. It seemed like today was either his death or the demon spirit warriors. He then picked up his giant axe and swung it down fiercely. In just 1 second, he cleaved the demon spirit warrior in 2. Then he let out a loud roar at the sky. Who else? But in the next second, golden light began to radiate from within the demon warrior's body. The goblin leader felt a sense of doubt. Then a golden hand emerged from within the body. A mage radiating divine power appeared. Chichenju, this is my new master. Let's call it the divine mage for now. Carl smiled slightly. Not bad. There are even specialized divine healers, but unfortunately divine mages can only maintain it for a short time. After all, it's divine power. Using divine power itself negates the necromancer's battle mechanism. Therefore, it's better to be cautious. After the battle, little Foxtail had a delicious meal. Look at how much it's enjoying itself. The 2 of them wondered, is goblin liver really that delicious? It seems like tomorrow we can finish the task issued by the 9-tailed fox, and we can also upgrade the Orc Slayer title. So Chichenju opened the status window. Although his divine power was only a mere 3 points, it should be useful in an emergency if he encounters danger. Carl asked, what are your plans next? Chichenju said it's time to meet the dragon slayer Hendrik. The 2 of them then arrived at the city where they first met him. Carl reminded him that this guy is a dragon slayer wearing dragon skin. You should be extra careful. Hearing this, Chichenju asked in confusion. This guy staying at level 10 must have some reason for it. Could it be that, like Wooler, he's waiting for someone to show up? Soon, the 2 of them arrived at the place where Hendrik appeared. Chichenju raised his hand and looked ahead. Hendrik was standing in the crowd at that moment. It's truly the legendary dragon race. Chichenju then walked straight towards the crowd, but Carl reached out to stop him. Otherwise, I will not go. Otherwise, they'll think we're here to start a fight. You old geezer, are you afraid? If all else fails, why did not we just fight him? Hearing this, Carl was completely dumbfounded. As the first-generation necromancer, how could I possibly be afraid of that little dragon? I just did not want him to misunderstand. Hearing this, Chichenju said, you're definitely scared, you coward. But Carl still stubbornly continued to argue. At that moment, Hendrik in the crowd fell into deep thought. He then tightly closed his eyes, but he wondered why he was here. Suddenly, an authoritative voice rang out. Wait on the 10th floor for that person to appear. Only by meeting him can you fulfill your wish in this life. At the same time, Chichenju had already arrived before him. You are the dragon slayer Hendrik, right? I've been waiting here for your arrival. And that little ghost behind you? Hearing this, Carl could not help but shiver. This is it, this guy actually recognized me. But just then, Bartholomew, the shadowing follower, appeared inopportunely. To prevent the dragon from overhearing their conversation, Hendrik led the 2 towards a portal. So this is a dimensional space hidden within the 10-layered divine tower. Any surveillance by gods or demons will be ineffective in this space. No wonder his connection with Baal is so weak here. Hendrik hesitated no longer. Then I'll be blunt. I'm gonna slaughter every single one of those dragons who killed me. Are you ready to fight alongside me? Hearing this, Chi and Sung Woo simply chuckled. You still thank Hendrik, the dragon slayer? Is not this dream a little too pathetic? Hendrik frowned angrily at the words. What did you say, you little punk? Seeing the situation getting worse, Carl quickly stepped forward to stop it. You better watch your mouth. That guy is in existence beyond the rules. If you really piss him off, both of us could be in trouble. But Chichenju simply said lightly, just watch quietly from the side. I have my own sense of measure. Although I do not know what you've been through, you should reflect on why things have turned out this way. As for your meager dreams, I'm not just going to destroy the dragon clan. If your only goal is to slaughter the dragon clan, You're not qualified enough for me to team up with you. You want to destroy all the races that could possibly kill me. Then you pointed at Hendrik, and that wish of yours is nothing more than trivial to me. Let me remind you again, right now you're not yet capable of working with me. Hearing this, Hendrik was completely stunned. Is your goal the entire 4 great royal families? I, like you, have died and come back to life. Those who want to kill me are not just one force, but the entire 4 great royal families. So you can understand the meaning behind my words, right? Upon hearing this, Hendrik could not help but laugh. This laugh made Carl feel uneasy. Could this guy be about to... But Jinhyuk just quietly watched him. I personally fully agree with your words. Once again, I solemnly apologize to you. So the man in the prophecy that Yuri spoke of is really you. Hearing this, Jinhyuk could not help but think that Yuri must have already had contact with this guy. Then with a click, Hendrik's sword was unsheathed. Whether it's true or not, only by testing it personally will we know. The one who seeks to defy fate. Please state your full name. Upon hearing this, Jinhyuk slowly took off his mask. Wangshi Jinhyuk. But just at that moment, a roar interrupted their conversation. Damn little lizard. What are you sneaking around here for? Upon hearing this, Jinhyuk looked utterly confused. Could it be that the old man's little lizard refers to you? Hendrik's face was now covered in cold sweat. He's the blacksmith who has lived here for a long time. My sword was forged by him. The old man continued. Since you've already taken my sword, get out. What are you doing back here? Seeing the old man's face, Qi and Sungwoo was shocked. This Oran is indeed one of the ghostly tribe. Did not they all perish in that great fire? How is there a survivor? Just as Jinhyuk was confused and puzzled, the old man looked at everyone and said, souls and spirit objects, truly a strange combination. And who is that little fellow who cursed me to death? You're so disrespectful to elders. I am one of the survivors of the goblin tribe. Do you intend to exterminate us? Hearing this, Ji Seongwoo quickly explained, Sir, you've misunderstood. I meant, how did you survive that tragedy? But the old man did not respond. He instead grabbed his hammer. So you're the one who burned down the entire village. I'm going to avenge my people right now. With that, he tried to smash Jinhyuk's dog head. Fortunately, Hendrik stopped him right then and there. Seeing this, the old man immediately flew into a rage. Let go. I will not rest until I smash him to avenge my people. At this point, Hendrik immediately explained, please calm. I think you've misunderstood him. Just then, Carl suddenly walked over. Sir, please do not worry. Do you know a limp named Yusu? Hearing this, the old man looked puzzled. Do you know her? Is that girl still alive? Then the old man recalled the unbearable past. That day, the village was holding a traditional celebration at the 100 layer. Then came that strange fire that led to the annihilation of the clan. Hendrik mused after hearing this. No wonder the old man was so irritable just now. So he had such an unbearable past. The old man continued. Where's Yusu now? Carl said that Yusu is safe now. Once he's done with the 9th floor, he'll come find us on the 10th. The old man then looked at the ghost mask on Jinhyuk's chest. That mask you're wearing should belong to Yusu, right? Jinhyuk immediately smiled slightly. She gave it to me as a token of gratitude for helping her. Do not worry, he'll be fine. As for one-on-one combat, she should be stronger than any of us here. At this moment, Hendrik suddenly asked, she will be our companion on the road ahead, right? Will she fight with us until the end? From the moment she gave me the mask, it was destined that she would join us in seeking revenge. At this point, the old man suddenly grabbed Jinhyuk's right hand. Thank you, kid. I misunderstood you earlier. My name is Yuani, and I'm the blacksmith of Ghost Village. I will do my best to help you from now on. Please, you and Yusu rebuild our village together. Hearing this, Jinhyuk looked completely dumbfounded. What did the old man mean by that? But Carl, on the other hand, understood perfectly. This mask holds the meaning of a marriage proposal for the ghost tribe. Then Yuani handed over all the weapons for them to take away. Jinhyuk looked at the long sword in his hand, emitting a purple glow. This is several levels higher than what Jinfu gave me, Hendrik said indifferently. Yuani is the most skilled blacksmith in the ghost village. After cleaning up, the two prepared to bid farewell to Yuani. But looking back, the grumpy old man had somehow fallen asleep leaning against the corner. Come to think of it, after learning that there were survivors, the tense nerves finally relaxed. Since the incident in the village, she had not had a good night's sleep. A good sleep would do her good. If there's a chance, I need to bring Yusu to see the old man. The old man will definitely be very happy to see Yusu. A cold light flashed and rushed towards Jinhyuk's neck. Then there was a sound. The wall behind me suddenly exploded. Your reaction speed is quite fast. I already said before, you must gain my approval before deciding to cooperate with me. Whether you have the ability to make me follow you unquestioningly. Seeing this, Jinhyuk opened his mouth in surprise. Do not get carried away. It's just the opposite. It's you who should prove your worth and that you deserve to cooperate with me. Hendrik leaped and landed above Jinhyuk. Jinhyuk remained calm and collected. Then show me your full strength and prove yourself. Then several sounds. His large knife slashed towards Jinhyuk. But each time he only managed to kill a few demon spirit warriors, while Jinhyuk was stalling with his summon. He instantly released countless flying swords that attacked from the air, but they were effortlessly deflected by Hendrik. Just at that moment, Jinhyuk suddenly dove down from above. Seeing this, Hendrik broke into a cold sweat. This truly insidious. Hendrik saw the short blade of Jinhyuk about to stab him, but Hendrik did not even move. He simply used a teleport to counter the attack, but he was still startled. This guy can actually use the omnipotent master's talent to create new sword techniques, but after all, he's a man who has ascended the 800-story tower. Suddenly he grabbed Qian Sungwoo's arm and threw him violently away. He only stopped after crashing into the nearby wall. Seeing this, the little fox could not help but chirp. Although being a necromancer is a good profession, its attacks are still a bit lacking, and there is a fatal flaw in its skills. It can only resurrect monsters within 10 levels at most. But as soon as the words were spoken, a blue soul chain snapped loudly. It turned out that at some point, Carl had released the soul chain and tightly bound it. What if it's the original necromancer? It might not just be monsters within level 10. Suddenly, Chichenju let out a loud roar toward the sky. Gridneal, a massive sword, was wrapped in crackling black-purple lightning. Even the surrounding space-time suddenly began to twist. Hendrik, seeing this, silently cursed that it was bad, but he was bound by chains and could not move at all. This is the strongest spell I have ever cast. It only takes a second to sever the head of the orc chieftain. I wonder if you're confident enough to catch it. The massive sword roared as it lunged toward Hendrik's head. Seeing the danger, Carl immediately let go. No matter how hard Hendrik tried, it was useless. At this moment, when his life was hanging by a thread, Hendrik gripped his longsword tightly in his hand. The blade suddenly emitted an eerie red glow. Carl shouted in alarm. Could this be the sword? Carl was right to think so. The eerie red glow on the blade was indeed the legendary dispelling technique. Immediately after, the soul chains on him were all severed. This guy's sword is dangerous. The sudden turn of events left Chichenju frozen on the spot. His strongest strike was actually neutralized like this, with Hendrik's roar of breaking dragon swan. There was a sharp crack. The enormous sword formed by the fusion of divine, demon, and spirit forces was split in half. Even more terrifying was that Hendrik's attack reached Chichenju in an instant. It was too late to dodge. Carl could only helplessly watch as the energy engulfed Chichenju. He desperately shouted Chichenju's name. Carl was also struck hard, spitting out a mouthful of aged wine. You should be the strongest fighter of this guy, right? Let's see what else you can come up with. There's nothing more to say. Let everything end here. Chichenju. But as soon as the words were spoken, Chichenju's figure suddenly appeared. I'm afraid I'll have to disappoint you. Qian Sungwoo, the strongest fighter of the Wanri Zhong, is here. He immediately fired all the arrows in his hand. Hendrik dodged them with a flash. Your archery is far worse than Gango's swordsmanship. But before he could finish, the arrows behind him suddenly stopped. Then they changed direction and returned. He then realized that these were not ordinary arrows but magic arrows. Chichenju looked at him with a smug expression. Then there were a few whooshing sounds. 3 magical arrows all hit Hendrik's body. Instantly blood began to pour out. The excruciating pain caused Hendrik to cry out in agony. Soon his entire body started to tremble. Watching his body fall from the air, Chichenju realized that he had to focus all his strength to deal with this guy. He slowly took out the demon mask. This time it's up to you. After saying that, he put it on his face. Although there are side effects when he's with Yusu, this time it will definitely succeed. Chichenju suddenly opened his eyes hidden behind the mask. He instantly felt the air around him slow down. Then an energy wave shot toward Henry Rick. Hendrik quietly watched everything unfold. Then his eyes turned wide as he gritted his teeth. Once again, he easily dodged the powerful attack of the tornado. The opportunity he had worked so hard to create was once again avoided by this guy. At this moment, Hendrik leapt high into the air. I did not expect you to be this strong. I lost. But this has sparked my strong fighting spirit. Let my blood boil again. He shouted loudly and unleashed the dragon flash. Suddenly a massive golden dragon appeared. It looked down at the tiny humans below. The attack came too suddenly. There was no visible way to dodge. The ghost mask had predicted the attack path. But with his current speed, he could not possibly avoid this full force strike. If this move hits, it's all over. It looks like I'll have to give it a try. With that, they pulled out the fox mask from their pocket. Seeing this, the little fox's ears immediately perked up. Looks like I have to rely on you now. I do not even know what kind of surprise this fox mask will bring. The old man suddenly trembled all over. What's going on here? Hendrik, it's you again, you crazy lizard. The little fox suddenly leapt high into the air. The old man tried to stop it, but he was powerless. Watching the explosive energy erupt not far away, the little fox let out a few chirps. At this moment, Hendrik's attack was also poised and ready. Show your trump card now or you'll have no chance. With that, he transformed into a blur. Chichenju was so fast that it was impossible to see him, but the next second, a dark shadow shot toward him at full speed. Chichenju's eyes widened in an instant. He heard a loud bang, and the scene was instantly engulfed in flames. The building was also destroyed beyond recognition by the impact. Where the two of them stood, only a towering black energy pillar remained. That guy should have been unable to dodge that attack, but just as the words were spoken, Hendrik felt a sense of crisis approaching from behind. It turned out that Shiseong Wu had somehow gotten behind him. He quickly turned his head around. Is that mask he's wearing a spirit artifact? Are you playing a mask game, Mr. Shiseong Wu? Then he dashed towards Shiseong Wu. But at that moment, sharp claws suddenly emerged from Shiseong Wu's hand. With a whoosh, they shot towards Hendrik. Soon their attacks collided. The sounds of their clashing weapons filled the air. Their movements and strength are not as fast as before. At this moment, Shiseong Wu also pondered. Could it be because of this mask,